You're watching the Sunoco Minor League Cricket Championship, brought to you by our 2023 partners.
So we want to welcome you to field number 1 once again. And this is the clash. The Philadelphians will take on the New Jersey Somerset Cavaliers as we're up for a Atlantic Eastern Super 4. They include Atlanta Fire, Atlanta Lightning, the Philadelphians, and New Jersey Somerset Cavaliers. So it's the Cavaliers and the Philadelphians. With the news, Cavaliers have won the toss. They've elected to bat. Kennard Lewis, the big imposing figure of Kennard Lewis, is out already in the middle. And we'll have to wait and see. Could be Marshall, but wonder why is Marshall looking left-handed out in the middle. And it might be Yasser Mohammed, but the fact is, Philadelphians will field first. Liam Plunkett has been given the ball. And we are ready again for another start. So the Philadelphians up against the New Jersey Somerset Cavaliers, and Kennard Lewis will be the man on strike. So there we go, start as Plunkett starts pretty well. Dot ball into the offside. And once again, want to welcome Peter Della Pena. Peter, this is another big clash. We've already seen East Bay with one early win in the tournament, and also Dallas Mustang. But here we go, Cavaliers, they take on the Philadelphians. Play in the miss, good carry here from Liam Plunkett. He's running in.
Yeah, it's good to see the Philadelphians part of the playoff setup now. They've got a budding tradition they're trying to build up to embed themselves in the fabric of the greater tradition of cricket in Philadelphia that stretches back hundreds of years. Some of the most magnificent facilities in North America are in Philadelphia with Marion Cricket Club and Philadelphia Cricket Club.
Home of Bart King.
And now the home of Liam Plunkett. The birthplace of Tara Norris on the USA women's side as well. Bart King, obviously the most prominent. Cameron Khan, who's been the head coach for Haverford College for 40 plus years now. Former USA captain, led the USA side in the 1970s and 80s at the ICC Trophy tournaments, which is the name of the World Cup qualifier nowadays. It used to be called the ICC Trophy, so there's a lot of heritage in Philadelphia.
So we've seen a very good start from Liam Plunkett. We've seen 4 dot balls in the over. And he's bowling to Kennard Lewis, who hasn't really had a chance to really get any big scoring shots on those deliveries. So this has been a very good start from the Philadelphians. So Kennard Lewis finally gets off the mark with one. Very good bowling from Liam Plunkett. He's really led from the frontier with a very good start to his bowling spell. And you look what has happened in the over. Very good start here from the Philadelphians. Cavaliers winning the toss, electing to bat. And they've come out here with Gajanan Singh and Keenar Lewis. So this has been one of the issues with the New Jersey Somerset Cavaliers. Abdullah Saeed would have been part of that. A classic shot through the offside of the bat of Gajanan Singh. And look at that, he raced away for 4. Lovely shot from Gajanan.
Yeah, USA fans are used to seeing Gajanan Singh come in the middle order. Plays a different role here for New Jersey Somerset Cavaliers. That one overpitched by Plunkett in the slot and thumped away through wide mid-off. Why don't I ever get any of those deliveries when I'm going out to bed? I'd love a half volley like that to get off the mark, Lenny.
So a lovely drive from Gajanan Singh, and Gajanan Singh, we was just making the point, he's been moved up the top of the order. And essentially when you look at the scorecard during the course of this series, Gajanan Singh has probably batted at every position from 1 to 7. But he comes out here with Keenar Lewis. We saw a tidy over from Liam Plunkett. Had it not been for the 4, it would have been a really quality over. Bowled a series of deliveries to Keenar Lewis. So Raj Nanan, the left arm spinner, comes straight away into the attack. And speaking about top of the order, he's been used quite frequently to bowl the new ball.
Leading wicket taker for the Philadelphians, 10 wickets at an average of 10.90 and an economy rate of 4.19 in 26 overs this season in 8 matches.
So Keenar Lewis on strike. The ball punched away into the offside. It's going to be a long chase here for Paul Islam. And a battle that he loses, and that's gone away for 4. Good looking punch from Keenar Lewis. He picks up 4.
And just a bit loose from Nanan to start off with.
And the boys, both teams will be happy to know that. Oh, balled him. So that's the end of Keenar Lewis. And Raj Nanan runs and celebrate in fine style. And why not? He's taking out the big Keenar Lewis. It's 9 for 1. So an early strike from Raj Nanan. Take a look at this one on the stumps. And a play and a miss from Keenar Lewis. And the Philadelphians have struck in the second over.
Well, he was trying to heave that ball back to Cyprus, Lenny. Maybe Tomball. Which suburb was he aiming for? Waller. There's a few other ones close by here along 290.
Yeah.
Didn't quite reach. I know that much. It was a big heave and wound up getting nothing on it. And it's a big wicket here. Early here. That's their overseas player, Keenar Lewis. You're allowed to have one overseas wildcard player in your 11. And Keenar Lewis is the one that they've got from Jamaica. So to get him for just 5 in the second over, big strike in the field. Delivered by Nanan for the Philadelphians.
So Xavier Marshall comes to the middle. Top order batsman used here by Cavaliers over the years. And I say over the years, if there's one individual that has not really moved around to other teams, other clubs, other franchise, it has to be Xavier Marshall. He's been so long committed and faithful to this unit. So Gajanan Singh comes back into strike. They have lost the big wicket of Keenar Lewis and Peter off Mike. I was kind of surprised that both of these teams out in the middle here would have won the toss and elected to bat, having gone through what was supposedly a win toss bowled during the entire season because of the condition at Mercer and Glenville. But I think probably that may have changed when they come and see the lush facilities here and the pitch is so much better than Mercer and Glenville. But I'm still surprised that they opted to bat when the entire season, the entire 2 months has been concentrated on how well can you chase the 150 and the 130 put up by teams where runs were so hard to come. Good start here from Raj Nanan. We saw the first ball going for 4, but he came back quite nicely and picked up the big wicket of Kenar Lewis. Gajanan Singh and Marshall out in the middle. So Plunkett continues, and our apologies, Chandrapal Hemraj is the left-hander out in the middle, and not Gajanan Singh. A little bit of switch of jerseys or players coming into the side, but the fact is it's not Gajanan Singh out in the middle, the left-hander, but that's Marshall for sure. And not a good start to this over from Liam Plunkett. So here's Plunkett to Xavier Marshall.
Well, this is going to cause a little bit of a stir because the information we got before play was that Hemraj was no longer classified as a domestic player because he left the tournament to go play in the CPL. And you can only have one overseas player in your 11. And so if he's no longer classed as a domestic player and he's classed as an overseas player, this is a point of contention. There was a lot of debate and a lot of discussions going on before play.
So Marshall falls this time very tamely into the offside. Prashad takes the catch, easy catch. And the second wicket goes down for the New Jersey Somerset Cavaliers. Marshall this time, and off the bowling of Liam Plunkett. So Marshall is gone, and another wicket goes down straight into the hands of Deveshwari Prashad. Easy catch. And all of a sudden, New Jersey Somerset Cavaliers, they're batting at 14 for 2.
Just tries to stride forward here to get on top of this, but Plunkett drags the length back ever so slightly. Can't keep the shot down. Very tame dismissal. Caught it cover. And kind of similar to what we saw in the early stages of the chase by the strikers in the first match here. Wickets falling early. This is going to be an uphill battle. But yeah, there's a lot of discussion going on with regards to the eligibility of Hemraj and whether or not he's actually technically classed as a domestic player still, or if he's now been reclassified as an overseas player. And part of the confusion with us is because Gajanan Singh is walking out to the middle with number 80, so he's walking on strike. You're going to see Hemraj turn around with 80. We got two players wearing the 80 jersey number. You can see it very clearly right here. Two guys wearing jersey number 80. So if you're wondering why we thought Gajanan Singh was batting, because we saw jersey number 80 walk out, who's also a left-hander. Both these guys are left-handed. Both of them Guyanese. Both wearing 80. Everything stylistically looks very similar. The red flag for me was the neon green gloves. I saw, wait a second, I've never seen Gajanan Singh bet with neon green gloves before. That was the only tip-off for me. But all other indications, in the normal course of events, you see somebody walk out with jersey number 80, Lenny, you would expect if they're left-handed that that's Gajanan Singh.
And the fact is, Peter, we're still getting our cricket clubs up. So that was kind of absent around that same time. So it's you and I in the box, and really by me, actually. And when I saw number 80, you're right on that. I do have a list that shows Hemraj shouldn't be wearing shirt number 14. So it all happens. 14 for 2. We've seen a good strike here from Plunkett. Picked up the wicket of Marshall.
Well, if they don't get flagged and penalized for having Chandrapal Hemraj in as a second overseas player, they should get penalized for having two guys walk out with jersey number 80. That's a match referee infraction there, Lenny. You can't have two guys wearing the same jersey number in any sport. They don't allow that in the NFL. They don't allow it in baseball. They don't allow it in the NHL, the NBA. You can't be wearing the same jersey number. That's in basketball, I believe that's a technical foul. And another, I believe it's a illegal substitution infraction in football and some others. You can't, these jersey numbers. Somerset Cavs, I think they need to be penalized for this.
So Gajanan Singh on strike into the onside. He gets off the mark. And that will complete the third over. So a good start here from the Philadelphians. Bowling first. They've picked up 2, 15 on the board.
Took that last corner pretty quick.
Sir, I need one hand on the roof, one hand on the pump.
Timeout for Sunoco Go Rewards.
Keep pumping.
With new Sunoco Go Rewards, when you fuel, you save, because rewards come first.
So Jonathan Fu takes the ball, the captain of the Philadelphians this year. He takes over from Milind Kumar from last year. And Milind Kumar, Peter, has made a long trek up to this area, up to this state, and it will be Gajanan Singh facing up to Jonathan Fu, 15 for 2. And we were talking not too long ago about players from Albion. And you look at Jonathan Fu, he's an Albion man out of Berbice.
Do you have a favorite Albion man, Lenny?
I've watched a lot of the cricketers from there. It's not really a favorite, but they've produced some good players. Them and Port Morant. Port Morant, of course, you've heard the stories about Rohan Kanhai, Alvin Kalicharan, Basil Butcher. Some 6 or 7 players out of the Port Morant club. That little club would have gone on to play at the highest level. Ball turned into the onside by Gajanan Singh. So 2 left-handers out in the middle. And the other thing, and the other thing, Peter, about the mix-up with the short numbers, a lot of times they'll select the short numbers just before toss, and within that 15-20 minutes, guy doesn't feel comfortable wearing that. He switches the shirt, but they don't tell the match manager that, well, I'm going to use another shirt. So I think that's what happened in the case of Chandrapal Hemraj and Gajanan Singh. He was listed as wearing number 14, but somewhere along that 20-minute, before when the toss is spun and really when the game is started, he probably decided, well, I'm going to wear a second number 80 shirt. So that was the whole mix-up. So 18 for 2, Jonathan Fu will continue, and over has gone pretty well. And Hemraj looking for runs, ball taken on the pad, and Chandrapal Hemraj would have just come off the victorious Guyana Amazon Warriors, who have been so many times to the finals, Peter. They did it on Sunday night when they got an impressive win over the TKR. Again, ball taken on the pad, so Jonathan Fu has really come in and he's done a job in this over.
And the amazing thing about Guyana Amazon Warriors, finally 6th time in the CPL final and winning. What sometimes gets overlooked in that is the fact that virtually every single time the final or the playoffs was in Trinidad or St. Kitts or St. Lucia, somewhere else,
वक्त आ गया है लक्ष्मी बासमती राइस को घर लाने का। लक्ष्मी एक्स्ट्रा लॉन्ग बासमती राइस, इसका हर दाना हो इतना लंबा, पकते हुए महके और प्लेट पे क्या खूब खिले। हाँ, मेरे घर लाने का।
winning by 9 wickets over TKR a lot of the times. Yeah, Trinidad had hosted the finals, now a chance to play in Providence, host the final, and home field advantage can be quite significant in the playoff structure of the CPL. And it took them long enough. They were going to get there one day, Lenny. They had enough tries. Just by the law of statistical probabilities, they had to win one of those finals.
Yeah, and Chandrapal Hemraj would have started with a couple of opening knocks, but then Ayub, young player from Pakistan, did well, but they never filled the spot when Chandrapal Hemraj was benched in the other games. And there were a lot of combinations that tried and didn't work, but here is Soripul Islam giving the ball into the onside. Gajanan Singh picks up a run, and the pressure on the New Jersey Somerset Cavaliers. They're going at 4.5 runs and over. They've lost Kennard Lewis, they've lost Xavier Marshall, and the two left-handers out in the middle, Chandrapal Hemraj and Gajanan Singh, trying to build something for the Cavaliers.
Islam tied for second in wickets on the team for the Philadelphians. 8 wickets in 5 matches coming into today with an average of 9.62 and a 6.24 economy rate.
Yeah, he's bowled well in one particular game. Might have been the Philadelphia Cricket Festival, a festival that they've had for 2 years straight. It's really a grand occasion. A lot of tents. They have designated a day to call it the Philadelphian Cricket Festival, and it's really a wonderful event. And Soripul Islam in that game may have picked up a 4-wicket haul and has really put himself into the formation of the bowling unit here for the Philadelphians. A big play and a miss here from Chandrapal Hemraj. So we saw in the previous over a lot of play and misses of the bowling of Jonathan Fu. And this over started pretty well here for Soripul Islam.
And in spite of the fall of early wickets, they're continuing to attack. Cavaliers.
And Peter, you look at both of these teams. They haven't really gotten out of their groups in 2 years of minor league. Philadelphians always seems to finish at the number 3 spot. Thankfully this year, 3 teams were in with a chance, and here they are.
Yeah, expanding that opportunity. And the other remarkable thing is you look at the Cavaliers squad too. It's not just the Philadelphians. Both these squads are quite loaded with talent. You consider all the players that have come through the Cavaliers side as well. On paper, you would argue that both sides, in theory, are with more talent historically than, say, the Stallions.
Struck well, straight down the ground from Chandrapal Hemraj. He was looking for a big shot for a long time now. It came, and that's a lovely shot straight on the ground for 4.
Just over pitched. Fraction too full. And Hemraj just muscling that back over mid on. Down the ground towards Highway 290.
So 5 in this over, still a very good over from Sorry Paul, but not so now. That's another 6, and this time off the bat of Chandrapal Hemraj, and 10 in 2 of the last balls, 29 for 2. Good shot, Peter.
Well, this is a superb shot. Hemraj again seizing on the length, 2 balls in a row from Islam, and he gets smoked back towards Highway 290. I think he tried to hit that towards the Buc-ee's that we passed on the way here. Lenny, you a fan of Buc-ee's here in Texas? Not made the trip into a Buc-ee's?
So 5 overs gone, 29 for 2. We've seen a couple of big explosive shots towards the end of the bat of Chandrapal Hemraj. And Jonathan Fu, his first over of 3. He is taking himself off, and Devashwari Prasad, the left-arm seamer, given the ball. He's a new addition to this Philadelphians team. And Peter, when you look across to the Somerset Cavaliers, they would have started with Saad bin Zafar, the Canadian international, who might be in Bermuda right now.
Yeah, we talked about it before. Ravindra Pal Singh is here. Hamza Tariq is here. Saw in the first match. But Saad bin Zafar, Canada captain. So the fact that the men's qualifier dates have clashed with minor league finals is having a big impact with some of the sides. Saad bin Zafar, it means he's not available. And you wonder, you know, what kind of an impact that may have in terms of how teams shape up here. Somerset Cavs not having him available, it could be significant, and it's not often that you have two significant events clashing like that in the region, but it's definitely going to impact the Cavaliers if they are able to make it out of here into the final on Sunday at Grand Prairie Stadium in Grand Prairie, Texas. Not Dallas, Lenny. They're very sensitive about that. Grand Prairie's Grand Prairie. Grand Prairie's not Dallas. You got to drive about 25 miles outside of downtown Dallas to get to Grand Prairie. Lovely part of Texas. Great hospitality. Wonderful facility. Everybody's looking forward to that final. Only 2 teams are going to get to go here, Lenny. Which 2 do you have your money on? Do you have a favorite here coming out of Prairie View to get to Grand Prairie?
So we'll see. Maybe in a couple of days I'll decide. But Prashad has been given the ball. Gajanan Singh is the striker. And Peter just coming back to the captaincy issue and the absence of Saad bin Zafar. Najaf Shah has always been there from the start, but he didn't play too many games in the earlier part. But now he has stepped in, and Najaf Shah has led this side even before minor league. I always refer to Somerset Cavaliers as probably one of the earlier franchise unit. They have gone to the US Open on several occasions and won there. And Najaf Shah has always been part of that group. So he gets a chance in the absence of, for the time being, of Saad bin Zafar, who led them in the earlier part of the game, and Najaf Shah has taken over.
Well, again, that's another reason why I was a bit surprised that Cavaliers struggled to get into the playoffs the first couple of years in minor league, because, again, they had that reputation, have been established. And
so put down, ball cut into the offside, and it could be Shiranshu Bhatia, who has dropped a sitter, and we'll have to wait and see how impactful that play could be. Into the hands of Shiranshu Bhatia, and he puts it on the grass.
So right there, it came at a gentle pace, basically the same pace that Xavier Marshall struck his catch to cover earlier in the second over, third over. That was not a difficult chance by any stretch.
Yeah, straight into the hand of Shiran Shubatier, the all-rounder of the team. He bats at 4 or 5 these days. He's a good cricketer, and I'm surprised he probably would have put that down. The question is, how much can Chandrapal Hemraj make them pay? Speaking of pay, this one is gone for 6, so at least 6 more. And that's a lovely strike from Chandrapal Hemraj. He loved going straight down the wicket.
Yeah, this time safely wide of Richard down there. Cameraman, that long off. He was in the firing line. He was in the crosshairs earlier in the first match. This time, lovely ball tracking there by Richard. And he's safe under the tent. He's got a nice setup down there.
Yes.
I'm a bit jealous, Lenny.
Well, cut away. That's a lovely shot again. So Chandrapal Hemraj on the charge. And 10 in 2 balls to close out the 6th over. 40 for 2.
What's up, Doug? What got into you?
At Sunoco, we know how to fuel peak performance. Fuel your best.
Power play done and dusted. They're going at 6.6 runs and over. We've seen a couple of big shots from Chandrapal Hemraj, given a life. Ball straight into the hands of Shiran Shubati, and he put it down. Jonathan Fu comes back for his second bowling spell. His first one went pretty well. And he will come in from the 290 side of this pitch. And Peter, what goes through your mind when you've put down a catch and the batsman has scored 10 runs after the next 2 balls? You're hoping that this man gets out, Gajanan Singh on strike, and into the offside can't score. What goes through your mind?
Dear God, please hit the stumps, get this guy out to end the agony that's going through my mind.
And it reminds me of the story of Brian Lara. They say that when he made 501 in one of the county game, he was dropped by the keeper when he was, I can't remember the score, but probably not 100 yet, but
I think it was 13
yeah,
is the story.
Right, and the keeper said, well, listen, the most that can happen, he will probably go on and make 100. Well, he didn't. He made 200, and then he went on, he made 300. Then he went on, he made 400. Then he went on, he made 500. So you never know what a drop catch can cost. 41 for 2, Chandrapal Hemraj comes into strike. And Jonathan Fu, he's been excellent. We saw his first over just going for 1. We saw in that particular over many attempts by Chandrapal Hemraj to really get him out of the park. But he's bowled well, Jonathan Fu, the captain. Takes over from Milind Kumar. And so far, Jonathan Fu, you've got to say, has led them well. They're into playoff mode this year. So an excellent over comes to an end. 7 gone, 3 off that over, 43 for 2.
आ गया है लक्ष्मी बासमती राइस को घर लाने का। लक्ष्मी एक्स्ट्रा लॉन्ग बासमती राइस। इसका हर दाना हो इतना लंबा, पकते हुए महके और प्लेट पे क्या खूब खिले। हाँ, मेरे घर लाने का।
So Prashad will continue. And Prashad, Peter would have been the man who would have induced a bit of faulty shot from Chandrapal Hemraj. And has had to pay dearly for 10 more runs after that.
The meter's still running, Lenny.
Yes.
We're just having a little bit of waiting time, but the meter's still running. Taxi fare is still going. You're still getting charged for this
And the fact is, even if Chandrapal Hemraj is not scoring, that partnership with Gajanan Singh is running too.
Yeah, it's a twofold problem. A lot of people overlook that, but you hit it on the head. Partnership, the inability to get a new fresh batter out of the crease, get one more wicket down, burrow deeper into the middle order, all these things add up. One issue compounds the other.
Suraj Nanan, the left arm spinner. First over would have gone for 9, picked up the wicket of Kinar Marshall. And he starts well with a tap into the offside from Gajanan Singh. So they're batting a 43 for 2. They're going a 6 runs and over. We've seen an even game so far. Both batters taking some time. They've built a partnership of 29 so far. And so far, so good. A bit of recovery here. We have seen the fall of Kenar Lewis and then Xavier Marshall when the score was on 14. So ball into the offside, can't score, going straight to the captain. So this is a tidy over from the slow left arm orthodox, Raj Nanan. 3 dot balls in a row to Gajanan Singh. Ball cut away into the offside. Prashad is there. This is turning out to be a quality over here from Raj Nanan. He has really allowed them to pull the scoring rate down to below 6 for the time being. And into the onside, can't score.
And this is an area where you would expect Gajanan Singh to excel. This is what he specializes in for USA, coming in the middle over period and taking on spinners. And yet here, he's opened the batting, but in a situation where he's accustomed to succeeding in a big way for USA, he's really, really struggling here against the left-arm spinner Nanan.
And surprisingly, we hear so much about matchups these days, and you would thought that against the left-arm orthodox, should have an easier time being a left-hander. He finally gets a single, and so that will complete 8, and after 8 is 44 for 2.
Took that last corner pretty quick.
Sir, I need one hand on the roof, one hand on the pump.
Timeout for Sunoco Go Rewards.
Keep pumping.
With new Sunoco Go rewards, when you fuel, you save because rewards come first.
Content of the commentary booth. Only the best content.
Consider the content for your artist.
Are you sending these to Emily? Or?
Yeah, after the end of the day. Do you want me to copy you in too or what? Yeah.
So Fu will continue. 2 tidy overs from him.
Academy Sports, baby.
2 overs, no made, none for 6.
Are you telling me you haven't been to an Academy Sports since you moved to Texas? You're missing out.
So Gajanan Singh, the man on strike. Here is Jonathan Fu, the captain. He's bowled 2 very cheap overs. And Peter, this is 7 balls we've seen Gajanan Singh struggle to really get good value for shots that he wants to play.
Just 1 off of his last 8 on strike. And finally getting a release shot over backward point. And Hemraj, that could have been 2 on another day. And I think Hemraj is saying, I want the strike now. Give me the strike because I haven't seen a ball in the last 10 minutes. And I had the hot hand before. Since that, he had a 4-6 sequence to end the 5th over and a 6-4 sequence to end the 6th. And then he hasn't faced the ball for basically 10 minutes. Hemraj.
So this time he gets a single into the onside. Jonathan Fu continues to bowl extremely well. We saw him coming into this over with an economy rate of 3. He's only conceded 2 in 4 balls, and he seems to have Gajanan Singh in a bind for the time being. So into the offside, smashed away. And that's a good release shot from Gajanan Singh. 4 runs.
That's more like it.
50.
This is what you expect to see out of Gajanan Singh. Kind of a round arm action there from Fu. Just tried to change the angle slightly, and Gajanan just thumps this into the brush. The chase is on. Where's the ball? I've had this happen a few times today.
So the 50 comes up in the 9th over. Lovely strike from Gajanan Singh. He's gone up to 14. And this partnership with Chandrapal Hemraj has yielded some 36 runs. So Singh into the offside. That will complete the 9th over, and after 9 is 50 for 2.
वक्त आ गया है लक्ष्मी बासमती राइस को घर लाने का। लक्ष्मी एक्स्ट्रा लॉन्ग बासमती राइस। इसका हर दाना हो इतना लंबा, पकते हुए महके और प्लेट पे क्या खूब खिले। हाँ, मेरे घर लाने का।
So 9 gone is 50 for 2. They've lost Kennar Lewis for 5. They've lost Marshall for 1. We've seen a wicket from Plunkett. We've seen one from Raj Nanan. And the bowling goes over to Deveshwari Prasad, the left arm seamer. And Peter, when you look at this Philadelphians lineup, they have a little bit of everything. We've got left arm seam. We saw Liam Plunkett. We saw Saripol Islam. They're not playing with Drysdale, another fast bowler. We've seen Jonathan Foodie off spinner. We've seen the slow left arm orthodox. And Shiranshu Bhatia can bowl some seam. So a little bit of everything. And so Prashad will come into bowl to Hemraj. This one scoots off the outer edge of the bat, and now they will scamper for a single. Brung is not interested, and probably in time to come we'll have a look upstairs.
This is another interesting single. We've seen a number of runouts, a number of near runouts so far, and that one was, if it had been fielded properly in the covers, that would have been dicey, but got there safely in the end.
So this matchup is from the Atlantic Eastern. The Philadelphians and New Jersey Somerset Cavaliers makes the trip to Texas. Pulled into the onside. Good looking shot from Gajanan Singh. And he's found the gap. That has gone away for 4. So lovely shot again from Gajanan Singh. And that takes the score up to 55 for 2. Ball short. And look at that. Pulled into the onside. That's a good looking shot from Gajanan Singh. And that partnership has gone up to 41 now. So this has been a very good, productive pair out in the middle since we last saw the departure of Xavier Marshall. And that partnership has gone up to some 41 runs. We saw a drop catch by Shiranshu Bhatia. Playing a miss, and the ball goes through to Rajdeep Darbar, who's donning the gloves today. And if there's one area that the Philadelphians will probably have to work on, is to really get one of those big name keeper. Rajdeep Darbar has filled the void for the time being. They've tried him so many times at the top of the order. Gajanan Singh pushing for 2, good running in the end. And they come back for a couple of runs. Peter, we're talking about that partnership, which should have been ended at around the 24, 26 area part. It has gone up to 43.
Hemorrhage dropped on 18 in the 6th over. Very straightforward chance at backward point. Batia put down, and partnership at the time, the score was on 30. So they've added 27 runs in this partnership, and Hemorrhage has gone from 18 to 31.
So ball pulled into the onside again, and doesn't time it well, and they pick up a single. This has been a very good over for the New Jersey Somerset Cavaliers. They've picked up 8 runs in it. And both batters out in the middle would have had a feel of Deveshwari Prasad. Might have feel undone that he should have picked up the wicket of Hemorrhage. But Hemorrhage is still batting 13 runs later. Okay, pull into the onside. Has he given Ryan Scott a chance? Yes, he has! Ryan Scott, he picks out Ryan Scott. And in addition to Prasad being very pleased that he's picked up one, Shirashu Bhatia might be thanking Ryan Scott that he's picked up that catch. 58 for 3. Hemorrhage goes for 31.
Ken, we've seen the wind change directions a number of times this morning and afternoon, and this time hitting into the wind, you got to muscle that ball a long way if you're going to clear the boundary. So Hemorrhage dropped on 18. His innings finally comes to an end for 31. And at the halfway stage of this first innings, 58 for 3. New Jersey Somerset Cavaliers after choosing to bat first.
So after 10, they're batting a 58 for 3. Sonny Patel, the leg spinner, comes to the middle. He joins Gajanan Singh. That big partnership of 44 came to an end. Excellent catch from Ryan Scott. Ryan Scott has been a real good addition to this Philadelphians team, not only as a batter, Peter, but he has really been inspiration in the field.
Yeah, convenient switch for him. Played with the Michigan franchise, Michigan Cricket Stars, but he's been based in Maryland. He lives in Maryland, so the fact that he's been able to switch to the Philadelphians is a lot more convenient for personal life reasons for Ryan Scott.
So Fu continues. Fu has really returned some excellent figures. 3.1, none for 13 so far. And I made the point, Fu came in and he really bowled quality off spin to the two left-handers out in the middle, Hemorrhage and Gajanan Singh. He will have a change up now. As Sonny Patel, he's been among the runs, got a couple of 40s during the course of this series. And in context, Peter, when you make 40s and 30s up at Mercer and Glenville, you batted really well.
Yeah, his top score was 46. Leads the team with 191 runs at an average of 21.22, but the key thing, you said it, Lenny, is he gets off the mark. He's playing a very delicate scoop. It's going to collect him 2 runs. Key thing to keep in mind, those stats you might say, oh, 191 runs in 11 matches, that's not that special. But the scores at Mercer were very, very, very low all year long, and so to scratch out any kind of runs there was a monumental task.
Yeah, you're right on that, Peter. When you look at the Atlantic Eastern Zone, you'd realize that Dominic Rickey with, 246, 236 runs as the top of the table over there, and then when you go to Nitish Kumar and the other guys up in Texas, it's 400.
Yeah, 400, 500 runs, that's been about the standard in terms of where the leading run scorers have sat each of the last couple of years in minor league cricket. And again, Nitish Kumar having a fantastic season for Lone Star Athletics, setting the pace for them. But not all pitches are created equal, honey.
Yep.
Not all facilities are, unfortunately. And it's a lot easier to score runs at Moosehead and here at Prairie View, where you've got really well-maintained wickets compared to Mercer, where they had a turf square for the very first time, and it sure played like a turf square that was being used for the first time. Hopefully in the next couple of years, the longer time it has to bet in that square, the scores will improve. This year was a challenge for sure.
So a good shot here from Gajanan Singh, and it's gone for a maximum. Connected well. And Jonathan Fu, you know something will have to give at some point. It came in this ball.
Well, this is what we're used to seeing from Gajanan. He was struggling so mightily against Nanan earlier, and now with an off spinner operating, he winds up, clobbers this over mid-wicket towards the team tents.
So 10 in this over from Jonathan Fu. Up until this point, we've seen, oh, strikes the stumps is Prashad, and he's gone. So it looks like Sunny Patel has been run out from a brilliant pickup and throw from Deveshwari Prashad, and the fourth wicket goes down 68 for 4.
Gosh, these have been killers all day long here, Lenny. Saw it plenty in the first game. We're seeing it again here now in the second game. The running between the wickets has not been a strong point. And Gajanan tries to tap and run to keep the strike. That was never a single. Prashad, I'll see it on the replay here, charges in from backward point. He's just looking to tap and run, delicate tap and run, and the distance by which he's thrown out here, that is quite significant. He was out by a good 3 yards. We had a perfect angle. Square of the wicket is where the broadcast position is, and that throw was coming right towards us. And you had your finger up, Lenny. I had my finger up. That was. We didn't need the assistance of Aditya Gajar on field to decide that one. That was pretty obvious.
Katwaru, I think. So 68 for 4. It looks like Stephen Katwaru, former West Indies youth player. Walks to the middle. Yeah, it might be Stephen Katwaru, number 20. So he comes out here with 54 balls remaining. Has played youth cricket for the West Indies, Peter, as a keeper. Would have played on the same team with the likes of Craig Brathwaite, the West Indies captain. Sunil Ambris, another player. Has played briefly at the international level. I want to think Sunil Narain might have been on that squad.
Narain was not on that squad, but the other guys you mentioned definitely were. John Campbell is another one who was in that group. They came to Florida in 2011, right before USA went to the Under-19 World Cup qualifier in Ireland. USA actually hosted them for 4 matches in Florida, and I remember seeing Stephen Ketwaru and Craig Brathwaite captaining that side, and John Campbell opening the batting, and Kevin Hodge, and Ronsford Beaton, Sunil Ambris. You said that squad was absolutely loaded, and they throttled USA 4 matches out of 4. I think they posted 380 or 370, 380 the first day, and I remember talking to Roddy Estwick afterwards, doing an interview, and I said, "How would you evaluate today, Coach?" And he said, "I'm disappointed. We had way too many dot balls. I wanted 400. No mercy." He was not satisfied, and Craig Brathwaite scored a century. John Campbell scored a century. They were just absolutely just destroying USA in that series, and a lot of those guys have played international cricket for the West Indies at senior level coming out of that as well, and if they haven't progressed that far, they played CPL, they played lengthy domestic careers in the inter-island setup in the West Indies. That was an extremely strong batch of players in the 2011-2012 time frame.
And Peter, as you mentioned, John Campbell, oh, he's gone. So finally, the Stephen Ketwaru, his misery comes to an end. Struck on the back foot. Raj Nanan has picked up another wicket. It's 70 for 5. Ketwaru goes.
Yeah, just playing down the wrong line there. He was stuck on the crease. Thought that was going to turn a bit more than it did. Instead, it was an arm ball. It just went straight on. So just defending down the wrong line. And Aditya Gajar puts the finger up. So Ketwaru. Stay was short, not very sweet, Lenny. Second ball duck.
Yes, Peter, I made the point. And I'm kind of surprised that Cavaliers have opted to bat first. Even if they came to Texas and saw that the conditions are so much different from Morrison or Glenville, but the habit of being in a chasing mode, I would have gone with chasing, but they have opted to bat. And you look at the card, it's 70 for 5. Gajanan Singh is on 29. As Yasir Mohammed comes out to the middle. And he's another player, Peter. When you look at the scorecard of the Somerset Cavaliers, he's batted from 1 to 7, almost in between every other game. So he comes in here at number 7 today, and whether or not he can bat them out of some trouble here, 51 balls still to be bowled. We've seen some very good bowling performance from this man, for example, and we've seen a good bowling spell from Liam Plunkett. One from Prashad. The captain has bowled well. And we come down to the next 50 balls. 70 for 5. Yasir and Gajanan Singh out in the middle.
Yeah, Yasser was picked for USA when he made his debut last year. It was as a leg spinner, but primarily when he came up through the junior ranks, he was primarily a batting all-rounder. He's got a lot of dynamic shots in his arsenal.
So a quality over comes to an end from Raj Nanan. So 12 gone, 70 for 5. And so 48 balls remaining.
What's up, Doug? What got into you?
At Sunoco, we know how to fuel peak performance. Fuel your best.
I thought the over was done.
Because it was, Lenny. 7 ball over. Trust yourself, Lenny. You got the app up. You're keeping score. You're counting ball by ball. We both counted 6. I had 6 on my paper. So 7 ball. They snuck it in there. They tried to pull a fast one. Didn't count for anything against them. It was a dot ball to finish. But yeah, that'll officially be a 7 ball over. Usually what happens in that situation, Lenny, is if you get a wide like that, it's a 5 ball over. They forget the wide. They count that as legal ball. Usually it doesn't go the other way.
What surprised me a lot of time, Peter, is that isn't the square leg counting too?
Well, I know something, Lenny. Since the time of the Egyptians, pencil and paper has never failed mankind. I guess the umpires, they're not able to use pen and paper out in the middle to count to 6. Using your fingers can be very hard because you only have 5 fingers on one hand. That 6th one.
So sorry, Paul Islam continues as cricket does so here. 12 overs gone. They're batting at 70 for 5. And Gajanan Singh has been out of strike for some time. He picks up a couple of runs and in fact picks up 4. And that's a good looking shot. Finds the gap through the offside in front of Raj Nanan. And he continues to fight a lone battle here.
That was not a bad ball. That was a good length delivery. This pitch getting short. We saw some variable bounce in the first match, but Gajanan Singh just trusting the bounce there. That was a fantastic shot on the up. Just punishing that through the covers.
So a lovely shot from Gajanan Singh. Takes him into the 30s. Sorry, Paul Islam continues. Top edged. Doesn't matter. Ryan Scott runs back. Couple of runs here. And so 2 more runs to Gajanan Singh, riding his luck. And he picks up 2 more valuable runs, 6 in 2 balls. Sorry, Paul Islam. Not a good start to the 13th over. But Cavaliers, they need every bit of run they can get.
Yeah, they've been tied down for the majority of this innings, but Gajanan Singh was taking a long time to get going. He was on 9 off of 20 deliveries at one stage, but since then, he's made 26 off of his last 14 balls, so he's starting to heat up.
So can't score on this occasion. And you look at Soripol Islam, this youngster bowling here, he's been given a nod in front of Drysdale, the other fast bowler from Westbury. And that is because during the course of that Philadelphia Cricket Festival, picked up wicket, bowled well, and really find himself in the team in place of Drysdale. Another top edge from Gajanan Singh, and look at that, runs down to the fine leg area, and he picks up another boundary, 4 runs.
They all count, Lenny. He'll tell people later on, oh, smashed it back over the bowler's head instead of over the keeper's head. Top edge, she went straight down the ground, just straight down the ground behind him instead of where he intended it to go. But they all count. And again, from where he was, 9 off 20 balls. You look at the scorecard now, and his strike rate is over 100. This is a decent rally from Gajanan Singh. Get the Cavaliers back into position to potentially from here they could get to 140, 150. We saw 151 was a winning score in the first match today. You never know, Lenny.
So slower ball from Islam doesn't go too well. Another one, he'll have to re-bowl this one. So the umpires are Brong and Aditya Gajar. Brong is a local man.
Yeah.
And Aditya Gajar comes from Atlanta. Not only the players who have traveled the length and breadth of this country, but even the umpires have come from far and wide. Cut away. Lovely shot from Gajanan Singh. Derek Narain. He does well to save the boundary, but a good-looking shot again from Gajanan Singh.
And kind of lazy running there. It should have been an automatic 2. Not sure what Gajanan Singh was doing. It was good fielding by Narayan, but it wasn't good enough that it should have prevented a second run there. So kind of sloppy from Singh. Don't forget about the third umpire, Lenny. We've got the player control team is 3 people, okay? Don't neglect Brian Kane here. He came from New York. He came from your neck of the woods. Come on now.
So ball driven into the offside. Yasser Mohammed is not running because he knows that has gone for 4. So lovely stroke through the offside to end the 13th over. And after 13 is 86 for 5.
Gorgeous shot here from Yasser Mohammed, the youngster from New Jersey, the pride of Old Bridge. Getting that through the covers, and 16 run over. For the struggles that the Cavaliers have had today, 16 run over, their biggest of the day by far. Now they're actually looking very confident heading into the last 7.
So 42 balls still to be bowled, 86 for 5. 13 gone. Gajanan Singh has played a good hand so far. He's on 40. Yasser Mohammed, his first scoring shot through the offside. Lovely shot. So elegant to watch, Peter. They say it looks better on left-hander. Do you find that?
Well, I'm part of the left-handers fraternity, batting-wise anyway. So yes, I vouch for that.
So Raj Nanan will finish up here. 3 overs, 2 for 12. Quality return from him.
I vouch for that without anybody actually having seen me bat. If they actually saw me, they might think, no, we want to expel you from the left-handers fraternity. You're going to make us look ugly.
So Raj Nanan continues, and Singh gets a single into the onside as we come down to the next 41 balls. And you look at the card, is 87 for 5 is something that the Cavaliers have seen so much in this 2023 Sunoco Minor League Cricket Championship this year. Yasser Mohammed comes into strike. A man, like you mentioned, Peter, would have come in as a leg spinner, but his batting has really taken off in the last, last year, last 2 years. He's been given many opportunities with this Cavaliers lineup, and he's had some mixed results so far.
He's had an interesting journey. He started off as a fast bowler and then converted into a leg spinner. So he's only been bowling leg spin for maybe 4 or 5 years. And around that, his batting is another string to his bow. And I'm not sure what's going on here. Oh, dead ball. Something happened here. I'm not sure what it was. So they're going to strike that ball from the record, Your Honor. I'll do that one again. It came off his hip, and I thought, oh, why aren't they taking a single here? This is a bit strange.
So we've seen a good over so far from Raj Nanan, man who comes out of the Georgetown Cricket Club. That's the border cricket club, by the way. I played for that club.
Now, did they expel you like somebody might try to expel me from the left-handers fraternity? Or are you a member in good standing? Were you honorably discharged?
I migrated, so that's why I was out. But Rajanana comes from that club, the Georgetown Cricket Club. So tidy over from Rajananan, 1 in the over so far. He's really pinned Yasser Mohammed with 4 dot balls in that over. And he comes in for the final one in his spell. Into the offside. His spell comes to an end. Very impressive one from Raj Nanan. 4 overs, 2 for 14, Peter. Very good, impressive spell from the leg spinner.
Nothing fancy. Sometimes that's all it takes. He just kept it very simple, kept it tight, kept it disciplined, and he kept them tied down. So right after a 16-run over, the momentum swings straight back to the Philadelphians in the field, thanks to Nanan. But now, the question is, after his 4-over spell is done, can the rest of the bowlers contain, if not bowl out, the Cavaliers here with 5 overs to go? 6 overs to go, excuse me.
So Plunkett comes back. And will come into ball to Yasser Mohammed, who we saw struggled in the last over. Gets an edge out to Ryan Scott. And so we come down to 35 balls, Peter. 8 and 9 for 5. What's your prediction on a score here on the ball towards the end?
Well, 36 and a running ball is not going to be enough. They need, realistically, to get to 140 minimum, 145. Can they get there is a bigger question. Gajanan Singh, it's going to depend on him.
Oh, cut away. That's a lovely looking shot. Perhaps shot of the day from Gajanan Singh. Short and wide and cut away. That's magnificent from Gajanan Singh.
Gosh, when this came off the bat, I thought it was going straight to Prashad at backward point. I thought it was going to be a straightforward catch, and instead the ball just kept on climbing, kept on climbing, kept on climbing. Just climbed enough. You could see Prashad leaping outstretched with one hand. Just barely cleared him. Never got a hand to it, so you can't mark it down as a chance. But I think Gajanan Singh might have had his heart in his mouth there for a brief moment or two.
Yeah, it's a lovely shot. We've seen an earlier game, and I will want to mark that as one of the best I've seen for the day. Plunkett returns, and Gajanan Singh can score. And for all our viewers who are watching the game and you've been to our pre-review, might be wondering what are we doing on field number 1? Most of the time, Peter, you've seen so much cricket from pitch 5, pitch 6. And I love that pitch up where you sit on top of the hill. And that's my favorite ground in this whole complex, to be honest with you. So 93 for 5. Gajanan Singh on 45. If he gets a 50 here, Peter, it'll be a hard-fought 50. Taking on the pad, could be some edge on that. We'll wait and see. Umpire Brown walks to the square. And there we go, that pre-signal telling us leg bye is coming up. I love pre-signals. But I've always wondered these days, because of the DRS system, are you giving away too much with pre-signals that the team may want to review or not?
That's a fantastic, a very fascinating question, Lenny. I've never thought that deeply about this. The fact that you said pre-signal, I knew you were going. I thought this is a man who loved pre-signals.
Well, I tell you what, Peter, and Brian Kane is right next to us. I started doing some umpiring this season, and I was on schedule with Brian Kane to do a job, and I don't know what happened. Maybe it rained out or something like that. And I've umpired a couple matches, one with Buckner and stuff like that. And I'm big on pre-signals. I love pre-signals as a scorer when I go to games, this one into the onside, and I do a lot of scoring when I do my stuff. And so I like umpires who give me an indication what has happened there, especially when you're waiting for a leg bye to really come to a close and you want to get on with your scoring, right? But recently, because of the DRS system, I'm beginning to sense that pre-signals too early is not good, because teams get a chance to know whether should I review or review not. That's what the umpire does.
Here's a much deeper philosophical question for you, Lenny. Why is a pre-signal called a pre-signal? In itself, it's a signal. Why is it not just called a signal? This is a greater question I have in my mind. How do you call...
When the umpire walks to the square, at least he gives you an indication. Like
but that in itself, that's a signal. He's signaling that he's about to signal. I would call it a primary signal and then a secondary signal.
Maybe, but I think that was the language, I guess.
I take more than the DRS giving away the pre-signal, giving away something for both sides for DRS. I take issue with cricket's lexicon makers calling it a pre-signal instead of a primary signal and a secondary signal. I think we need to address that. Brian Kane, do you concur?
He's brought out the blue book.
We got to get the MCC on the phone. Call him in London. Get the +44 international dialing code out.
So Shiran Shubatia given the ball. Gajanan Singh is on 46. And a bit of an inside edge, and he goes up to 47.
Oh boy, we almost had another run out there. Could have really gone for both ends.
Yeah,
very delayed start from Gajanan Singh. He didn't know where the ball was. He got a call from Yasser Muhammad immediately. We'll see it on the replay here. It takes a long time to get going. Yasser Muhammad leaves immediately. Gajanan Singh took forever to get going. The throw comes in. If that hits, he's out. It bounces over the stumps. Might be slightly difficult to see from that angle, but it went over the top.
Yes, Peter, you're right on that. And on a day when we have seen so many direct hits, it looks like nobody's missing the stumps anymore, except that one. So a couple of runs in this over. Shiran Shubatia. How much can Shiran Shubatia make up for, Peter, with that drop catch? Bearing in mind, it's not only the ones that we're counting on Chandrapal Hemraj, we're also counting on that partnership.
Yeah, 13 runs extra to Hemraj, but the partnership went on for quite a significant amount of time afterward.
And Gaju Khan scores a good slow ball, good mix-up here from Shiran Shubatia. Is that what medium paces have become now? Exponent of the different kinds of slower ball and all in between?
Yeah, medium pace is turning into anything but medium pace nowadays. It's trying to take as much pace off as you possibly can. Slow pace. Tricky pace.
So that's pace on. And Gajanan Singh struggling in this over. He's up to 47.
Talk to some bowlers at this stage of the game. The faster ball is the quote-unquote change-up, not the slower ball. It's rare that you see a full pace delivery, and you can see why it's such a struggle when they do bowl a full pace delivery, because there is so many deliveries taken with pace off, disrupt the timing.
Cut away. That's a lovely shot, and that could bring up Gajanan half century. So the half century for Gajanan Singh comes in fine style. A short ball outside the off stump, given room, and Gajanan Singh has gotten a 50 here in Prairie View, Texas. So 50 for Gajanan Singh. And he comes off 46 balls, a slashing shot for 4. Shiran Shubatia. And this one is a wide. So Aditya Gajar.
Here's that half century brought up with this boundary behind point. The elegance on display there from Gajanan. Perfectly encapsulated in that replay. He's so classy.
So Gajanan Singh gets a fighting half century here for the Cavaliers. Slower ball, stroked into the offside, and Abdullah Ghazi is out in the field. I wonder who is he feeling for, but that will complete the 16th over. And after 16, it's 104 for 5.
Yeah, 46 ball half century might not look like much, but when you consider he was 9 off 20 balls earlier in his innings, to catch up in the way he has is phenomenal recovery by Gajanan Singh, and he's put Cavaliers in position here where 140 is realistic, and you never know, that could be a winning total. It was plenty in the first match we saw today. Get a team fielding for 100 minutes in this heat. Lenny wears him out. Do they have enough energy to chase the total down?
So Liam Plunkett will bowl the 17. So he will finish up here. Raj Nanan is done. Jonathan Fu is done. So they'll have to depend on the likes of Soripul Islam, who's gone quite expensive today, 2 for 27. Prashad, 2 for 19. Shiran Shubatia, 1 for 8. So we'll have to wait and see where they get those 3 overs from, but Plunkett will finish up here.
Gajanan Singh this season, coming into today, 105 runs with a best of 30, average of 11.67. You say, man, he's been terrible. Again, you have to remember the grounds that he's been playing on. This is a guy who plays for USA, who's been a top performer for USA.
In the air, field is coming around. Goranshu Sharma. He puts it down, and Gajanan will live on. Couple of runs for him. He goes up to 54, but he will continue batting.
This one hung up in the wind for an awfully long time. I thought that was going to fall well short, but the wind just, it's blowing out that way. This is why Gajanan is trying to hit it down that side of the ground. When it came off the bat, I thought it was going to fall well short, but the wind just held it up in the air, and it kept on carrying it towards Goranshu Sharma. Created the catching opportunity. He covered the ground well, couldn't get there. Now that drop is compounded, rubbing salt into the wound. Gajanan just muscling this through wide mid-on, past Goranshu Sharma, giving him a very quick reminder that you don't want to drop Gajanan Singh. Dropping it shortly in Plunkett. Dropped it mid-on, 1 ball earlier, and then he whips this past Goranshu Sharma, chasing across, and crucial boundary for the Cavaliers.
So pace on from Liam Plunkett. Yes, Peter, we've seen a couple of good shots in that over. And Gajanan Singh bisecting the gap between Sharma and Abdul Jabbar. He's picked up 58 runs so far. 110 for 5, 21 balls still to be bowled. You see Liam Plunkett running from far. He's really cranked up the pace. And here he is into Gajanan Singh, 110 for 5. Singh gets the ball taken on the pad. We'll wait and see. And that throw from Prashad comes in. Umpire Brong says nothing, so that's a run to the batter. And we come down to 20 balls remaining, Peter.
Goranshu Sharma developed most of his cricket in New Jersey, came up through the New Jersey academies. down in the part of Jersey, South Jersey, that we'd call closer to Philadelphia, so he fits right in with this Philadelphian squad. And a wide is going to be signaled from square leg on this occasion. Plunkett just getting that short ball too short. And Aditya Gajar sends the signal over to Owen Brown to give the official word for a wide on height. Just too high for Yasser Muhammad to try and hook that one in. Plunkett not exactly thrilled with that call. Looked fair enough, though. Looked from our angle, we're square on, and I thought that was quite high when it passed live.
Yeah, that's one of the irony of white ball cricket. Dropping in front of Sharma this time. You've got to, as a bowler, you've got to prevent the batters from really scoring, and then also on the same token, you've got to give them a fair chance to score. So in between will work. Yasser Muhammad picks up another run, and Gajanan Singh, who's really batted well, he's up to 59. And Peter, when you look at the score here, it's 113 for 5. It resembles the kind of score that the Atlantic Eastern Division have seen. And Gajo wants a single. He wants to retain strike. The throw comes in, not in time. And so the 17th comes to a close. It's 114 for 5. With Gajanan Singh on 60, Yasser Muhammad on 9. 17 gone, 114 for 5.
आ गया है लक्ष्मी बासमती राइस को घर लाने का। लक्ष्मी एक्स्ट्रा लॉन्ग बासमती राइस। इसका हर दाना हो इतना लंबा, पकते हुए महके और प्लेट में क्या खूब खिले। हाँ, मेरे घर लाने का।
So 17 gone, it's 114 for 5. Liam Plunkett leaves the field. And Sivaram Swarna comes in, so I see Abdul Jabbar out in the field, and I wonder if he's another substitute. We'll have to keep an eye on that. Didn't see Abdul Jabbar part of the playing 11, but we'll wait and see. But Gajanan Singh, he's played a very good hand. Prashad comes to bowl the 18th, and let's see what he has done. 2 overs, no min, 1 for 19. Into the offside, Shiran Shubatia makes sure he holds on, and there is no run. Good start.
Yeah, from here, you got to be targeting 140 if you're the Cavaliers.
And Gajanan so far 7 4s and 1 6 Peter. I'll be wondering how long he's been batting out there. Let's see if we can.
And these last 2 deliveries, you got a fielder deep on the edge of the circle. This is hit and run mode. You got to be taking singles off those deliveries.
Yeah, I saw in the last ball of the last over, he farmed the strike. Let's see this one into the onside. Jonathan Fu, he's very safe. He comes up with a good catch. And that's the end of Gajanan Singh. He falls on 6 days, 114 for 6. Good, excellent catch from Jonathan Fu. Well placed in that area. And so the 6th wicket goes down here for Cavaliers. Gajanan goes for 60.
And I don't think he should have been on strike. You take a single off one of those previous 2 deliveries. It's Yasser Muhammad who's facing that ball. And that one, he tries to muscle it over wide long on. It looked like it came off more towards the toe of the bat, nowhere near the middle. So more of a cue shot for Gajanan, and that's why it turned into a very, very simple catch for Fu out there. Out at long on. Have another look at the replay again. It just comes down near the toe of the bat, and that's why he didn't get enough power behind it to clear Fu on the boundary.
So Adel Bati comes to the middle, 15 balls remaining. And Prashad has picked up 2. He's bowling at 2 for 19, 2.3 so far. And Peter, apart from the spill opportunity from Shiran Shubatia, the catching has been good in both games. We haven't seen catches put down, at least not the simple one, not the straightforward one. The catching has really been good. The throwing has been on target. Everyone that has thrown the ball to the stumps have struck the stumps, and how many times haven't we seen the umpire finger going up? Bati gets a very good ball that he plays across to, and the ball goes through to Rajdeep Darbar, the wicketkeeper.
Adel Bati, somebody played for USA way back in 2012 to 2015. The bulk of his appearances for USA.
Did he play in the Orlando Baker Imran Awan time or before?
He was at the tail end of that era.
Oh.
He was kind of in the transition period between those two.
So play taken on the pad. Gajar is convinced that it pitched in line, impact in line, no touch on the bat. And Adel Bati makes a brief appearance. He's gone. It's 114 for 7.
Yeah, I can't fault him too much for this. This is 14 balls left in the innings. He got a swing for everything, and unfortunately it backfires for Adel Bati. He's just trying to score quick runs here, going for a heave across the line, and that one is very full, very straight, very out, according to DT Gajar. And Adel Bati didn't look like he had any complaints with that decision, just run straight off the field. But what it does mean, again, the pendulum swinging again. We had a 16-run over in the 13th, followed by a 2-run over. And then 10 runs conceded by Plunkett in the last over, potentially followed by what could be a double wicket maiden here, depending on what happens on the final delivery of this over. So momentum has shifted dramatically both ways throughout this innings here between these two East Coast rivals.
So tomorrow the Atlanta Lightning will take on the Cavaliers, and fire will come up against the Philadelphians as they crisscross the East and the South. But for now, is that Arya Gag? I'm not too sure. We'll wait and see as Newman has come to the middle. So Abdullah Ghazi comes to the middle, and he gets a good quality ball. How good has Prashad been in this over, Peter?
So good that he's just completed a double wicket maiden. You don't see those every day in T20 cricket, and to do it in a playoff match here is quite extraordinary. 114 for 7 after 18.
So we were talking a little bit about Saad bin Zafar, and now we're talking about a double wicket maiden. Saad bin Zafar bowled a 4-over spell and has not conceded a run. Guess who? Panama?
That was done. Yeah, was that done in... I'm trying to think if that was in 2019 or 2018.
Well, while you try to recollect what has happened there, we were stunned this morning when we heard the news. Nepal has broken, what, 7 or 8 records last night?
Only.
Or more?
Only 7 or 8. Depends on how you want to you could conjure up a whole lot of other records if you wanted to. Consult with the Elias Sports Bureau, who specializes in that kind of thing.
Well, here we go. The highest score in men's T20 International, 314. Fastest T20 International century, 34 balls. Fastest T20 International half century, 9 balls. Most sixes in an innings, 26. Biggest win by margin, 273. Highest strike rate by a player that has faced 10 balls. Into the offside. As cricket continues here, Yasser Mohammed picks up one. And Peter, we come down to the last 11 balls.
I mean, I could conjure up my own stat there. Highest percentage of sixes in an innings from deliveries faced. 80% of balls faced struck for six. You could conjure up that stat if you wanted to make that a record for Dipender Singh Irie.
Where was the venue?
I believe it was in China. Yeah. The Asian Games, China. That's where that was held.
So Abdullah Ghazi on strike. We've got 11 balls remaining. And Shiru Bhatia, given the ball here, runs into ball to Ghazi into the offside. Picks up an easy single, and we come down to 10 balls remaining, 116 on the board. And you get the feeling that the Philadelphians will gladly accept what is on the table for the time being. It certainly resembles what we've seen all season between teams. Good shot from Yasser Mohammed, but straight into the hands of Jonathan Fu. And another Cavaliers wicket goes down, 116 for 8.
It's not often that you see the cover sweeper become a catching position in cricket, but happened on this occasion. Mohammed, the wind has been blowing in from that side. You got to go straight down the ground. You're trying to go square. The ball is tended to hang up in the wind here today at Prairie View, and you see it there. That catch taken a good 15 yards inside the rope. So not the best place to try and clear the ropes from Yasser Mohammed, but again, it just highlights how good the death bowling has been here for the Philadelphians. So what looks like 140, 145 was possible with 4 overs to go, even 3 overs to go. 3 overs to go, 114 for 5, you'd say minimum 140. All of a sudden, double wicket maiden, followed by another wicket. They've lost 3 wickets for 2 runs in the last 9 deliveries. Things going horribly wrong here for the New Jersey Somerset Cavaliers. Philadelphians looking in great position right now to close out a victory here on day 1. Again, they still have to come out and bat, but the way things are going, you back them to chase what looks like it's going to be an under par total, unless something dramatic happens here over the last 9 balls.
So Abir Chippa comes to the middle, the leg spinner. And he has come in for cover for Saad bin Zafar. And I saw him, might have been last week, out at Glenville up in Schenectady. Bowled well, got a 4 wicket on his debut appearance for the Cavaliers. So he's going to be part of the squad as a left arm spinner. And Abir Chippa, if the name rings a bell to you, Peter De La Pena, is that he has played for several franchises in a couple of years of minor league, and the fact is, he has gone from region to region. I know he was one time on the West Coast. Then maybe last year he was in the Atlanta region, so he's gone to Northeast now. So next year we'll send him to Central.
What I want to know, Lenny, bringing up the new ground up in Schenectady, what's your favorite part of the drive on the New York State Thruway, Route 87?
Well, I'll tell you what, I got a ticket.
And that's definitely not the favorite part.
So playing a miss just a couple of weeks ago on August the 25th, got pulled over. 19 overs gone, it's 117 for 8. In fact, wide is the call, so we take that back.
I tell you what I don't like, 55 mile per hour speed limit on the Thruway.
65 now.
Have they changed it? Took them forever.
Yeah, so not a good memory at all.
And even then, Lenny, they still zapped you.
But here's the good part. When I come back, we'll talk about that. The good part, it was a 65 mile zone and 19 gone here. It's 119 for 8. So final over coming up. with Abdullah Ghazi and Abir Chippa out in the middle. But so the speed limit is 65. I was doing 81, so he pulled me over. Going with the flow of traffic, I was kind of surprised, but he pulled me over, and probably after he realized that I have no points for like 18 years and all my tickets have been paid and stuff like that. So he told me he's not going to write me a speeding ticket, but he'll give me an infraction. So
did he tell you your license plate was covered improperly? I've had that happen. That happened to me in Iowa. Police officer was very generous. I was speeding. I won't say how fast I was going because it's
not in South Africa, right?
No, not in South Africa. This was in Iowa. This was when I was in college. I was coming back from Minnesota and going back to Nebraska, and was driving on Route 80. Route 80 goes from Newark, that goes from the George Washington Bridge, Route 80, all the way to San Francisco. So it was on good old Route 80, and I was going quite fast. Way faster than I should have been, I'll say that. But it was 6 a.m. I thought, there's nobody on the road. Nobody's going to see me. I need to make up some time here.
So a good strike here from Abdullah Ghazi, but look, into the hands of Raj Nanan. And we made mention how the catching has been really good from the Philadelphians. And another wicket falls, Peter, 119 for 9.
Yeah, this is sharp. Sharp bowling from Prashad, who's now the team's leading wicket taker on the season. There's 4 wickets today, has bumped him into the team lead's simple catch, taken down the ground as he's overtaken Nanan, who finished today with 2 for 14. Well, so actually he's level with Nanan. They're both on 12 wickets now for the season. So 1 wicket left. Can they bat out the 5 balls? We'll see. But yeah, I was going quite fast, we'll say that, at 6 a.m. Cop pulled me over. State trooper, Iowa State trooper. And I think he thought, with how fast I was going, I think he was concerned that I might have been drunk. I'm not a drinker. I don't drink alcohol. But he just made me walk because he thought, man, this guy was going crazy fast. Just want to make sure he's sober. And I walked fine, did the line on it. So he pulled me into the car, and I think he just realized this kid's a little bit, maybe he's a bit sleepy. And maybe that's why he was weaving in and out of the lanes, because he was a bit drowsy. And the innings is over here. Bullseye. Prashad picks up 5 wickets. Fantastic from Prashad. Came into today with 8 wickets on the season and ends up with a 5-wicket haul to wipe out the Cavaliers, who are all out for 119. Full and straight. That's all it takes. And just to wrap up the story, he said, you know what? I think, I don't want to give you any points because the speed I was going, I could have theoretically had my license taken away. But he gave me a break and he said, you know what? It looks to me like your license plate, the plate, the border around the plate, the thing that protects the plate, it looks like it's improperly covering up one of the stickers for the registration. So I'm going to write you a ticket for improper display of the license plate. It's a non-moving violation. It's a $80 fine. He says to me, wink, wink. He goes, does it look like your license plate is possibly improperly covered? And I said, yes, officer. And I kind of realized what he was doing. So you look at the end of the innings here. Gajanath Singh, more than 50% of the runs, 60 for the Cavaliers in their total of 119, and outside of Gajanath and Chandrapal Hemraj, it was a mighty struggle for the Cavs as the Philadelphians get the 5-wicket haul from Prashad. Good support from Raj Nanan, the left-arm spinner, with 2 wickets. Prashad overtakes him, now the team leader on the season with 13 wickets, and Plunkett and Bhatia also chipping in with a wicket. So they're going to need 120 to win. That's the target for the Philadelphians heading into the second half of this match here at Prairie View Cricket Complex on day 1 of the minor league playoffs, Sunoco Minor League. And we're going to take a short break. We'll be back here to start the chase in about 15 minutes time. And we'll continue the speeding story, the speeding saga then with Linnea Chaibar.
So there we go, start as the ball punched away into the offside. It's going to be a long chase here for Paul Islam. And a battle that he loses, and that's gone away for 4. Good. And the boys, both teams will be happy to know that. Oh, balled him. So that's the end of Kenar Lewis and Raj.
Going on before play.
So Marshall falls this time, very
The
tamely.
Stallions.
Struck well, straight down the ground from Chandrapal Hemraj. He was looking for a big shot for a long time now. It came over from Paul, but not so now. That's another 6, and this time off the bat of Chandrapal Hemraj. And so put down, ball cut into the offside, and the cut ball Hemraj make them pay. Speaking of pay, this one is gone for 6, so at least 6 more. Well, cut away. That's a lovely shot again. So Chandrapal Hemraj on the charge, and 10 in 2 balls to so into the offside, smashed away, and that's a good release shot. Pulled into the onside. Good looking shot from Gajanan Singh, and he's found the gap. That is okay, pull into the onside. Has he given Ryan Scott a chance? Yes, he has. 10 in this over from Jonathan Fu. Up until this point, we've seen strikes the stumps. And Peter, as you mentioned, John Campbell. Oh, he's gone. So finally, that was gone. They're batting a 70 for 5. And Gajanan Singh has been out of strike for some time. He picks up a couple of runs, and in fact picks up 4. Another top edge from Gajanan Singh, and look at that, runs down to the fine leg area. So ball driven into the offside. Yasser Mohammed is not running because he knows that.
Depend on him.
Oh, cut away. That's a lovely looking shot, perhaps shot of the day. Cut away, that's a lovely shot, and that could bring up Gajanan half century.
Anju Sharma created the catching opportunity. He covered the ground well, couldn't get there. Now that drop is compounded, rubbing salt into the wound. Gajanan.
Farm the strike. Let's see this one into the onside. Jonathan Fu, he's very safe. He comes up with a good catch. So play taken on the pad. Gajar. Good shot from Yasser Mohammed, but straight into the hands of Jonathan Fu. So a good strike here from Abdullah Ghazi, but look, into the hands of Raj Nanan.
Drowsy. And the innings is over here. Bullseye. Prashad picks up.
You're watching the Sunoco Minor League Cricket Championship, brought to you by our 2023 partners.
So welcome back for the reply. The Philadelphians will need 120 runs from 120 balls. That's good. That's good sequence as Najav Shah, the captain, has been given the ball. Out in the middle, Rajdeep Darbar, the right-hander, and the attacking left-handed Ryan Scott. Such an exciting player to watch. And you don't want to move a muscle as Ryan Scott and Rajdeep Darbar comes out to the middle. With the news, they need 120 from 120 balls. So the Philadelphians did well to restrict the Cavaliers to 119. And we're ready for that reply. So thanks for joining us, and you're watching Super League action from Prairie View in Houston, Texas, and we're delighted that you've joined us. Very hot and humid conditions here at Prairie View, pitch number 1, or field number 1. So Najav Shah, the big left-arm tall fast bowler who's played briefly at the international level, will start things off, the captain. And so here we go, first ball. Here is Najav Shah to Rajdeep Darbar. And Darbar gets a good ball into the offside, and things are on the way here for the Philadelphians. So they're 1 for no loss. I want to welcome Peter Della Penna. Peter Della Penna, Ryan Scott, such an exciting player in T20 cricket.
But has he experienced the excitement of driving on the New York State Thruway?
Well, let's see if he can drive at 81 miles an hour.
Yeah, if he drives at 81 here, they'll speed to the target in no time. Get to put their feet up a little bit early.
So Najav Shah has nicely slipped into the leadership of this Somerset Cavaliers team in place of Saad bin Zafar, who's on international duty, as Peter will be heading up there in a couple of days in Bermuda for another seemingly endless T20 qualifiers and other qualifiers among the associate nations.
It's going to be an exciting time in Bermuda because one of those teams is going to qualify for the T20 World Cup for the very first time in their country's history.
So ball sliding down the leg side, a bit of stifled appeal, and I wonder why. Let's see if there's a leg by call. Yes, leg by is the call from umpire Aditya Gajar.
Are you telling me you didn't see the pre-signal there, Lenny? Come on.
So a couple of balls in this over, 2 on the board so far. And the wicketkeeper Rajdeep Darbar comes back into strike. Contrasting heights of the players engaged here. Najav Shah over 6'5", maybe 6'6". And Rajdeep Darbar as tall as Peter Della Penna.
Is he? Or am I? Trying to get a good look here.
Maybe 5'4".
Yeah. If I was 5'4", maybe I'd bat a little bit better. Maybe I'd be out in the middle. If at 5'9", 5'10" height, it's no good in cricket. You need to be tall or short. In between, not so good.
Oh, that's a good-looking shot, but he finds the fielder at fine leg. Looks to be Adil Bhatti, and so things have started nicely here for Najav Shah.
Yeah, Saad bin Zafar not here today because he's in Bermuda. Canada squad has arrived. They are there with the hosts, Bermuda, obviously, Cayman Islands, and Panama. One of those 4 teams is going to claim the lone berth available from the Americas for the 2024 T20 World Cup. It's going to be co-hosted by USA and the West Indies. And for some people who may be wondering why USA is not participating in that qualifier, it's because they already are with a berth in the T20 World Cup by virtue of being co-hosts. USA has never qualified for the T20 World Cup, but they're in the tournament because they're co-hosts.
So Ryan Scott gets bat onto this one through the backward square area. And the attacking instinct of Ryan Scott continues here at Prairie View. That's 4 runs.
Well, They're already ahead of the run rate. They just need to run a ball. First boundary comes off the bat of Ryan Scott. 2 straight, shuffles across the stumps and gets that easily past fine leg.
Yeah, Najaf Shaw would be quite displeased with the line in which that ball went down through the onside. He wants to bowl on the offside as always. So many more players on this side. And he runs in again. Final ball to Ryan Scott. Probably a better line. So that will complete. In fact, wide is the call from Aditya Gajar. And so we'll go a while longer here.
And just out of the reach, you can see it swinging away. Good movement from Najaf Shah. That's the one positive you can take out of that. It's getting some swing.
We saw when the Philadelphians bowled, they only conceded 6 extra. So advancing down the track doesn't go too well, and the ball goes quickly to Stephen Ketwaru. So the first over comes to a close. They're 8 for no loss.
Took that last corner pretty quick.
Sir, I need 1 hand on the roof, 1 hand on the pump.
Timeout for Sunoco Go Rewards.
Keep pumping.
With new Sunoco Go rewards, when you fuel, you save because rewards come first.
So Adel Bhatti comes into the attack, 8 for no loss. We've seen Ryan Scott already with a boundary. He's such an aggressive player, and he deals in boundary speeder. So Adel Bhatti, he's here to defend 112 from 114 balls. You look at Rajdeep Darbar, he's given the nod over Derek Narain. Derek Narain probably will come at 3, so here is Adel Bhatti to Darbar. And Darbar has struggled to really put up good scores this summer. But they've persisted with him for one, that he's the only wicketkeeper. And that's one of the points I've made a few times, that Philadelphians have really morphed themselves into a very, very good unit this year. The acquisition of Ryan Scott was a big one. But now they'll have to concentrate and probably opt for a top-class wicketkeeper who can really give them runs. Something in the mold of Anthony Bramble, Milanta. So a couple of good balls here from Adel Bhatti. He started well. Play and a miss. Oh, in fact, he gets an edge. And it goes to Xavier Marshall, who takes a tumbling catch. And that's the end of Rajdeep Darbar.
Adel Bhatti. He's fired up. His bowling is so fiery that his hair is turning green. This one goes straight to slip. I don't know what cricket you play, Lenny, but in my cricket, when the ball goes in its edge to slip, that means you're out. Not really sure why Darbar is standing there.
And not only that, I see Adel Bhatti appealing to the umpire. If you pick the edge and you go straight to Marshall at second slip, I don't think even Marshall was in first slip.
Yeah.
What's the big...
It's out. But Adel Bhatti, the green hair. The green dyed hair, I'm not sure if we can zoom in on that. The Adel Bhatti, the dyed green hair, we've seen some unique stuff in minor league cricket, but the frosted green tips on his hair. That's dedication. He's taken the green jerseys for the Cavaliers, and he's taken it to another level. Look at the frosty green tips there on Adalbati's hair. That's dedication.
Yeah, that's the common color of the Cav. They're green and black, so he's gone not only with the shirt, but he's gone higher than that. He's gone up to the head. So Derek Narain comes to the middle.
Now, I gotta say, I'm a little bit disappointed in Xavier Marshall. The X-Man, he's usually a big fan of the dyed hair. Where's his green dyed hair?
Well, he's under the cap, I tell you that.
Does he have it? Is he hiding it under the cap?
I think so. And then, of course, Sean Finley somewhere around. I'm pretty sure Sean has some color doing. So here is Adel Bati to the left-hander. Derek Narain. He plays and misses outside the off-stump. And the ball goes through to the wicketkeeper, Stephen Ketwaru. Derek Narain, whenever he's had the opportunity to open for the Philadelphians, he's gone so with Ryan Scott, but a couple of games because of unavailability, and then he has slipped down the order, batting at number 3.
Derek Narain, former NYPSAL Player of the Year. He's been around a long time now. PSAL High School League.
Yeah, Peter, you mentioned that. There are quite a few players who really, the New York boys, who really made their name in that tournament. You look at Amarnath Prasad, you look at Kevin Nazir, Randall Wilson, Tristan Carmichael, Derek Narain. All have had some really good tournaments during the course of their high school days. And even the NYPD, they're on a summer tournament. And a lot of these boys, they will play there from time to time once you're a junior player. So 2 of us gone, it's 9 for the loss of 1.
वक्त आ गया है लक्ष्मी बासमती राइस को घर लाने का। लक्ष्मी एक्स्ट्रा लॉन्ग बासमती राइस। इसका हर दाना हो इतना लंबा, पकते हुए महके और प्लेट में क्या खूब खिले। हाँ, मेरे घर लाने का।
So Gajanan Singh, the off spinner, gets an early ball, Peter.
Gajanan Singh might shock some people to see that he's actually the leading wicket taker for Somerset Cavaliers. Somebody who rarely bowls for USA, but he's, well, they're giving us a googly, Lenny. He handed his cap to the umpire. He was all set to bowl, and then they said, nah, we're going to keep Najib Shah on for one more over. Change of plan.
Yeah, this is, well, it may not be cruel to us here who are using scoring apps, but I tell you, Peter, like you go to the Caribbean, for example, and when there's a bowling change, you literally have to move the whole board with the guy's name and just put it on the board, and then if they do something like that, they'll get a lot of curse. They'll curse them out. So Derek Narain on strike, and here is Najaf Shah, and not Gajanan Singh. The ball defended into the onside, and Narain picks up his second run and brings Ryan Scott on the strike.
Yes, I enjoyed my time in Antigua for the men's qualifier back in 2021, and I remember that the manual scoreboard operators, they were not shy of chirping a few words if you did something like that.
So Ryan Scott comes into strike. We saw him in the previous over, getting a ball heading down the leg side and dispatched it for 4. And when you're bowling to the likes of a player like Ryan Scott, you can't wait until you get out of the power play. On the other hand, he's hoping that he can catch you within that 4-6 over and inflict enough damage. Here is Najaf Shah. And into the offside. Ease in the world. Through the offside. He stands and he waits and he knows that's gone for 4. Lovely shot. Punch through the offside from Ryan Scott. And that has gone away for 4. Classy looking shot from Ryan Scott.
I had my chance, Lenny. That was my moment. I was fumbling with the microphone, the camera in one hand. I was trying to feel it. Look. To struggle, Lenny.
So a lovely shot from Ryan Scott. Couple of 4s. He's gone up to 8. Dealing in boundaries. Oh. Just guiding this one through the slip area.
I'm never going to hear the end of that. Somebody's going to see that, and they're going to say, Della Penna, you run your mouth about bad fielding, this and that. Look at you. You klutz, fumbling the ball, bouncing your way on the boundary. I tell you what happened there. I'm naturally right-handed, but I thought I was going to have to feel that left-handed, so I switched hands with my camera. I went to my weak hand. I didn't read the backspin properly. I thought it was going to tail away to the left side, and then all of a sudden started to backspin to my right hand, and by that time I couldn't switch my camera.
Yeah, I think I'll need to see it again. Maybe I'll ask Roddy to let's review that ball. Najaf Shah walks a long way, so we have time.
So all of a sudden I was having to reach across my body again. I'm reaching across my knee because all of a sudden it's coming towards my right hand, but I've got the camera in my right hand.
Well, you have so many other excuses: the scoreboard, the table, the chairs, the camera, the pen. There's so many other things. Come on. 15 for 1. Najaf Shah has bowled a very good over. And we've seen a lovely shot from Ryan Scott. Not only no man move, but even Peter Della Penna misfielded. Play and a miss. That's a quality delivery to Derek Narain, sorry. And we've seen Najaf Shah from time to time, Peter Della Penna, and he's always been part of this Aslam Khan crew, the Somerset Cavaliers, and has gone to the US Open on several occasions and have won tournaments for them. Good leader, good fast bowler, and having played at the international level, he brings something to the table. Look at that. A play and a miss, ball angling across the left-hander. So the third over comes to a close. It's 15 for 1.
What's up, Doug? What got into you?
At Sunoco, we know how to fuel peak performance. Fuel your best.
So Adel Bhatti will continue. We saw quality over from Adel Bhatti, only conceded 1, picked up the wicket of Rajdeep Darbar. And Peter, outside of a fast bowler, dreamed to see the stumps flying or the stumps knocked back. Are they impressed when they're able to pick the edge of a batsman that flies to slip? Top 3?
Impressed? Yes. Confused? Also yes. Because he's appealing for a catch to slip on the wicket that he took earlier.
And I was kind of surprised. I wonder why. So Ryan Scott on strike. One, I think this is the first time he's striking from this end. Here is Adel Bhatti. Top edged, past third. Chase here for the fielder. And they'll come back for a couple of runs. 2 runs for Ryan Scott. Abdullah Ghazi, the man running back.
Well, I like this, the dedication all around the Somerset Cavaliers squad. Kenar Lewis has got some spectacular green lens sunglasses here. They're really taking commitment to the cause to a whole new level in this Somerset Cavaliers squad. I'm going to tell you.
And I've got my green cap from them. I met them at Glenville a couple of weeks ago, and they handed me a green cap. So you never know, maybe tomorrow I'll show up with it. By the way, tomorrow the Cavs will take on the Atlanta Fire. A chance for them to crisscross the talent from the East versus the talent Aaron Jones, Cornet Dry, Zayn Saeed, and Stephen Taylor, I think. Oh, Scott goes down the ground. Good stop here from Najaf Shah.
Amila Ponzo, Atindra Subramanian, played for USA Under-19 in Canada, helped them qualify for the World Cup in Sri Lanka next January. USA's draw was just unveiled. Stiff task, they got ahead of them, Lenny. Bangladesh, India, and Ireland. USA's group at the Under-19 World Cup in Sri Lanka, first appearance since 2010.
We're beating them all three. Mongolia? No? So Narain comes into strike. We've seen a very good over here from Adil Bhatti so far. Going down the leg side. Good take from Stephen Ketwaru. And Stephen Ketwaru has played briefly at the Trinidad first class level, but the wicket-keeping duties was held up for a very long time in that Twin Island Republic by Dinesh Ramdin for a long time.
Now, you bring up Mongolia again. There's a lot of people who are upset saying, oh, Mongolia, they shouldn't be allowed to play. This is ridiculous. The records are being ruined. No, Yuvraj should still have that record. David Miller should still have the record, blah, blah, blah. If I'm a player, I'm saying, no. Mongolia, you're more than welcome. Please keep playing. Because I want to play against you. No, we don't want to banish Mongolia. If you can come out against Mongolia and score a century, or you can score a 34-ball century if you're Kushamal, or you can score a 9-ball half century, and if you're Dipendra Singh Irie, you say, no, Mongolia, step right in. Roll out the red carpet for you.
So Scott, no timing on this one. It goes out to Kinar Lewis.
I get very upset when people say, no, they shouldn't be allowed to play. No, come as often as you like. More than welcome anytime. I mean, you look at college football, Lenny. You know, Notre Dame, they like to schedule Tennessee State on their slate this year, and they'll schedule some of the service academies. I mean, Oregon, before Oregon beat up on Colorado last week, Oregon scheduled Portland State. I think they beat them 82-7, something like that. Nobody at Oregon's turning their nose up and saying, no, we can't schedule Portland State. So come right down. Bo Nix needs some practice before he gets ready to take on USC and the other teams on the schedule. No, there's none of that attitude in college football and some of the other American sports. Yeah, you're more than welcome to come on.
So 4 of us gone, 21 for 1. Ryan Scott and Derek Narain out in the middle, 2 left-handers. They've lost the wicket of Rajdeep Darbar, caught Marshall, Bola Adil Bhatti. A gem of a delivery from Adil Bhatti. Gajanan Singh has now given his cap to the umpire. By the way, we're not saying he's going to bowl.
No.
We're making it very clear this time. He's handed his cap to the umpire, period, and stop.
Now he's marking out his steps.
Not even then, Peter. Come on.
Now he's Aditya Gajar is signaling right arm around, excuse me. So I think they've reached the stage where they're committed.
Okay, so Gajanan Singh has
no turning back now. Past the point of no return.
So Gajanan Singh has been given the ball. We'll come into bowl to Ryan Scott and Peter De La Pena. What lies in store here is Ryan Scott for the first time will be facing spin off spin more directly.
And he has that kind of round arm action, Gajanan Singh, when he does bowl. Not a traditional off spinner's action in terms of getting the arm up high. Kind of comes from the side. And he's got a slip in place. And why not? He's the leading wicket taker for them on the season. 15 and an average of 6.67, 4.76 economy for Gagnon.
And the fact is, Peter, he's bowling in the power plays. This is over number 5. Ball tossed up, and Ryan Scott plays like Ryan Scott. He's looking for runs. He's looking for boundaries. A play and a miss, so a bit of minor triumph here for Gajanan Singh. 21 for 1. They've lost Darbar. Going down the wrong line. Called a wide. Will have to be rebowled. So we saw when the Philadelphians bowled, their extras tallied only 6. Oh, big play and a miss. So this over's gone pretty well for Gajanan Singh. Ryan Scott.
She wouldn't know he's chasing a target of 120 by the way he's attacking this power play. I think he's going after 180. He's not holding anything back.
Again, going down the leg side, called a wide. And so we've seen a couple of runs in this over, a couple of wides of Gajanan Singh. So he finally gets away, will probably pick up a couple of runs, fielder running back. Abir Chipper is the fielder, and they come back for a couple of runs.
Now Gagnon wants to change the field a little bit. Well, you know, you're coming around the wicket. You got to slip in place. You got to bowl outside off. Too many on the pads, too many straight. And Xavier Marshall is going to come out of slip now to a backward square leg position. And I think this is kind of a negative tactic. You don't want to sit the field for bad ball bowling. You're only defending 119. Why not keep the slip in place?
So ball flicked into the onside, well within the 30-yard. And Gajanan has really bowled a quality over here to Ryan Scott. He's only allowed a couple of wides, 2 runs off the bat of Ryan Scott. But he's kept the boundaries away from the hard-hitting Ryan Scott. Here he is, ball number 5. And not timed well, so Ryan Scott will hand the strike over to Derek Narain, but this has been a very good over so far from Gajanan Singh. Only 5 off this over.
Yeah, every little bit helps. Again, they only needed 6 and over to win, so they're under that now.
So ball cut into the offside. He squeezed through the gap. And Derek Narain has brought up a boundary off the final ball.
He heard you, Lenny. He heard you talking up Gagnon, and I said, what good over? I'm going to take this over and turn it upside down. Fraction of width. That was not very wide outside off stump, but was just very well placed, delicately placed in the gap through the covers. And gets to the boundary to spoil that over. 30 for 1 after 5.
So bowling change. Adel Bati gets a relief. 2 overs, no maiden, 1 for 6. And it looks like Abdullah Ghazi have to confirm.
I'll tell you what, Lenny. There's a Texas State Trooper up on the hillside just beyond the ground. Maybe he heard you. Maybe he heard you were driving. He wants to keep an eye on you to make sure you're staying under the speed limit here, Lenny. He's gonna track you down when you leave. There it is. He's got his eye on you, Lenny. A Texas State Trooper. Watch out. Highway Patrol. He got the radio call. He heard you in the first inning, Lenny. He says, "Oh, we got the radio call. Watch out for Lenny when he leaves the parking lot later today."
Thankfully, I'm not driving. So Abdullah Ghazi has been given the ball. So correct, Abdullah Ghazi will come into the attack here, Peter.
They're keeping us on our toes today. Making all sorts of changes, maybe changes. No, we'll put this guy in, not quite. No, yeah.
Guy's marking up his run, handing the cap to the umpire.
If we're confused, I wonder how confused the batters are in the middle.
So Ghazi starts well, a ball that keeps low. Ryan Scott picks up another run. And Peter, how frustrating it is for batsmen like Ryan Scott, who loves to play shot, that when the big shots are not being played. Is that where the carelessness steps in, or you go ultra rash and then you lose your wicket?
Well, he's been in one mode here. He's only been playing one way. He's got away with it at times here. Oh dear, and I think that was an edge behind. I heard an edge, but it's going to be negated by a no ball. Oh dear, 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 dear. I don't know about you, Lenny. I thought I heard a noise.
I think so.
Yeah, everybody around here saying that was an edge behind. Have a look at the replay here. The call was loud and immediate, and as you can see, the clear deflection, clear edge behind, and immediately Ghazi's got a hand on head. He cannot believe he's just cost himself a wicket because he couldn't keep his foot behind the line. So a huge mental error by Ghazi.
So free hit ball, Derek Narain still on strike. Gets a single out towards the short backward square area. Hemraj is the fielder. And a quick question for you, Peter. How much does it impact a delivery if you're just half an inch over the line? Would the bowler would have delivered a different ball?
Every little bit of distance matters. It all counts. That literally could be the difference between coming off the middle of the bat and clipping the edge, having that few inches forward over the line.
So ball struck straight down the ground. Fielder comes around, Sunny Patel. And this has been a very good over from Abdullah Ghazi, barring the no ball, of course.
Well, now he's got the towel flying out of his waist. He's got a lot of stuff happening there, Mr. Ghazi. Watch this towel flies out of his waistband. Ooh, that could cause a distraction. Now, it happened before he passed the umpire, so you wouldn't expect Owen Brown to signal dead ball there, but potentially Aditya Gachar could have signaled dead ball if he felt it was going to distract the batter enough.
I thought some of these dead balls now are no ball, aren't they?
It could also be, yeah.
So 4 runs in this over. Narain on strike. Into the offside. Stroked it away beautifully. No man move. Yasser Mohammed just in retrieval mode. Lovely shot from Derek Narain.
Yeah, this is why he was touted as such a promising prospect way back when. Coming up through the New York high school system. And Narain, again, that's not a half volley. That's on the up. It's not an easy shot. I mean, it was full-ish, but not exactly in the slot. He had to hit that on the up. And he connected very, very sweetly. We've seen this pitch get better and better. Earlier in the day, there was a little bit of variable bounce, but the pitch has gotten much truer as the day has worn on. It's allowed guys to play shots like that.
So ball into the onside. That will complete. In fact, still a ball remaining. We've seen a no ball. We've seen a no ball in this over. Yes, Peter, you're right on that. And bowlers length varies from batters. Derek Narain, he's a tall man and he plays way out in front. Long levers, great reach. So you're right on that. He doesn't need a half volley to really drive you through cover. He can probably reach the ball on bunks. Play and a miss, and so that will complete 6 overs. So the power play is done and dusted. After 6 is 38 for 1.
वक्त आ गया है लक्ष्मी बासमती राइस को घर लाने का। लक्ष्मी एक्स्ट्रा लॉन्ग बासमती राइस। इसका हर दाना हो इतना लंबा, पकते हुए महके और प्लेट में क्या खूब खिले। हाँ, मेरे घर लाने का।
So the overs, over by over chart. The blue has already happened. That's the Cavaliers. That's their chart. And the Philadelphians perhaps doing a lot better, or a little bit better. Asking rate was 6 runs and over. They're going a 6.33. And every over we have seen the occasional boundary. Ryan Scott is still there. And just in case you're lagging behind, you've got the best man, perhaps one of the better batter spread across the entire region, Peter De La Pena, in Ryan Scott. He scores very quickly.
Yeah, 18 off 16 balls right now. Slow for his standards, but still good enough right now for the Philadelphians.
We saw in the last over, Gajanan Singh had him in a bind, and this is going to be a good contest. Oh, that's a good start from Gajanan Singh. The off spinner has really tied Ryan Scott down for the time being.
Now that the power play is over, they've got deep square leg, deep mid wicket, long on, long off, and they've got a cover sweeper. Those are the boundary riders for the Cavaliers. Big gap in front of square inside the ring. The only ring fielder on the leg side is at fine leg. They've got a backward point to cover and an extra cover, so nothing in front of square on the leg side inside the circle.
Oh, has he taken the catch? Gajanan Singh comes up with a brilliant catch. And Ryan Scott is gone. 38 for 2.
Gajanan Singh has got a broad smile on a normal day. Just got a lot bigger after that catch. No reaction. Look at this cool cat. Come on, Gage. You got to celebrate more than that for an effort like that. He gets a hug. Well, okay. He got a hug from Derek Narain at the non-strikers, and that's the celebration. There we go. Spirit of cricket, Lenny. Right there. That was coming back at some speed, let me tell you. Replay slowed it down a little bit, but that was briskly hit. And Gajanan showing he's still got plenty of energy left in the tank.
Yeah, the big wicket of Ryan Scott. And you get the feeling that Somerset Cavaliers will know that the playing field might be a lot leveler now, as Garanshu Sharma comes to the middle. And Gajanan Singh was always looking threatening Peter De La Pena, especially to Ryan Scott. And it's no wonder that he probably picked up the big wicket. Good catch.
Garange, the youngster out of New Jersey. Growing up, he was an off spinner, and then all of a sudden, he went through a pretty significant growth spurt. All through his youth, he was a tiny kid, flighted the ball. He was a flighty off spinner, and then all of a sudden, in the space of a year or two, he just morphed into this giant, standing over 6 feet tall. And when that change happened, he changed his focus more from bowling into batting. And over the years, former USA Under-19 player Garanshu Sharma back in the mid-2000s. Now he's trying to make an impact on the franchise scene here with the Philadelphians.
So they need 81 from 81 balls. Gajanan Singh has really continued to bowl well this season. And Cavaliers need someone with a 2, 3, even 4 wicket haul. We saw Deveshwari Prasad doing that against when they batted. And now it's on to the likes of Derek Narayan, Goranshu Sharma, and the others to come. And the fact is, you look at Gajanan Singh, Peter, and he's not afraid to give the ball the occasional flight. Is that because he has really come in with some tidy overs before? It has given him the confidence to come against the likes of Derek Narayan. We saw that ball given a lot of air. And when you consider he doesn't have a big score to bowl at, isn't it brave that he's opted to really go with some flight?
Yeah, he's mixing up his pace at times. He's darted in a few 4-1s. But again, that flight is paying off. Lenny, you called it. Giving it some air. Induces the cotton bold, and now he's got another wicket to his name.
Yeah, typically, Peter, when as an off spinner you get the outside edge, a lot of time they tell you because you're playing for a little bit of turn. Let's take a look. Might be playing inside of the ball a little bit to the off spinner. Yeah, there we go, looking for perhaps a little bit of turn. Gajanan Singh has really been spot on. And he picks up the wicket now of Goranshu Sharma. Safe catcher behind. Stephen Ketwaru has played at the West Indies Junior 11, and he comes up with a very good catch as Jonathan Fu walks to the middle. With the Philadelphians, they're batting a 40 for 3. So the captain, Jonathan Fu, comes to the middle. Almost a runner ball chase, but Peter, we've seen 3 wickets fall. Derek Narayan is on 12. Jonathan Fu comes out to join him. Gajanan Singh has been really spot on. And he continues to bowl well. So the 7th over comes to a close. And after 7 is 40 for 3.
Took that last corner pretty quick.
Sir, I need 1 hand on the roof, 1 hand on the pump.
Timeout for Sunoco Go Rewards.
Keep pumping.
With new Sunoco Go rewards, when you fuel, you save because rewards come first.
So Sonny Patel has been given the ball. Right arm, leg spin, googly bowler. Given the ball here, they're defending 80 from 78 balls. And we'll come into ball to Derek Narayan. Narayan is on 12. So run a ball game here. The Philadelphians takes on New Jersey. This is the Atlantic Eastern. 2 teams, the Philadelphians and the New Jersey Somerset Cavaliers. And the captain has just walked to the middle, Jonathan Fu. He replaces Milind Kumar from last year. There we go. Look, Sonny Patel is not bowling as Abdullah Ghazi.
They're testing us. They're testing us. Money.
So Abdullah Ghazi, his first over went for 8, and he runs it now to bowl to Derek Narain. Narain flicks. Goes down to the tallest man from the Somerset Cavaliers. That's Najaf Shah. How tall you think Najaf Shah is, Peter De La Pena?
Tall enough to make us talk about it. I know that much. 6'4", 6'5"? More? 6'6"? He's playing the wrong sport. He should be a small forward instead of a fast bowler.
I think he's about 6'5", 6'6", maybe.
30 years ago, he would be a power forward. Now a small forward or a shooting guard, maybe. Depends on how agile he is on the court.
Well, he bowls a cricket ball pretty well. He's leading this team here today. Jonathan Fu comes into strike. And Abdullah Ghazi given the ball. Some other bowling options here for the Cavaliers, and I'm surprised. Ball peels off the outside edge, and a misfield from Marshall allows Jonathan Fu to get off the mark. So Derek Narain comes back into strike. Some other bowling options. We have got Yasser Mohammed. We haven't seen Sonny Patel, two right arm leg spinner. There's Abir Chippa, who came in for Saad bin Zafar and got a 4-wicket haul at Glenville just about a week ago. Inside edge towards square leg. And this is the thing you may not like about umpiring. When a left-hander and a right-hander is at the crease, and you're doing top-level games, and you've got to run from square leg to square leg, that's tough.
Well, how are you going to get your 10,000 steps in if you don't have a right-hander and left-hander at the crease? You gotta keep the blood flowing, get the exercise in. Come on.
I umpired a game with Steve Buckner this season. One of the first lessons I learned. First thing, let's mark the 30-yard circle. Ball turned into the onside from Jonathan Fu. And you get the feeling, Peter, that Philadelphians, all they require, it's a games that could be won by singles and twos.
No, you can't. That's not a speed bump that you can just run over here. You got to go back. Steve Buckner, what else? What else did you learn from umpiring with Steve Buckner? For those who don't know, Steve Buckner now lives in the Bronx. He's been in the Bronx now close to a decade now, I think. Steve Buckner, the former international umpire out of Jamaica. He's been now retired from international umpiring, but for those who may not be aware, he's a fixture in New York City. It's very, very common to see him umpiring PSAL games, other league games. I've seen him at Van Cortlandt Park a few times. I know he umpires at other venues around the city. Where did you umpire with him? What ground was it?
Van Cortlandt Park.
It was at VCP, right? Van Cortlandt Park. Yeah, so that's his neck of the woods. He lives not far from Van Cortlandt Park. It's in the Bronx. These things matter. Short commute. You don't want to have to take the subway all across Queens if you're living in the Bronx.
So ball on the off stump goes through to the keeper Stephen Ketwaru. So 8 overs gone. It's 45 for 3.
आ गया है लक्ष्मी बासमती राइस को घर लाने का। लक्ष्मी एक्स्ट्रा लॉन्ग बासमती राइस। इसका हर दाना हो इतना लंबा, पकते हुए महके और प्लेट पे क्या खूब खिले। हाँ, मेरे घर लाने का।
All right, Lenny. What's the longest commute you've had to make on the subway to get to a ground, or do you take the car?
Maybe Floyd Bennett Field.
Ooh, that's a bit far. Even if you're in Jamaica, get down there on the other
bus
down in Brooklyn. That's It's a trek to get to Floyd Bennett. Now, do you take the Belt Parkway, or you drive, or you take
Flatbush.
Flatbush. Okay.
But Brian Kane, as we were talking off mic, Brian Kane knows his way around every bus route and every train route. So Gajanan Singh continues, and Narayan into the offside. Ghazi will come around. And a single to Derek Narayan, so 74 to win.
Oh dear, oh dear, dear, dear. Now Gajanan is looking at Ghazi like it's Ghazi's fault. I'm going to put the blame on that one on Gajanan. They take an overthrow, so it turns into 3 runs in the end. And that was really a poor collection by Gajanan. That should have been a simple 2, and I don't know what Gajanan was doing. He's giving dirty looks to Ghazi, who made a tremendous effort to keep it from going over the boundary. But
so another wicket goes down. Derek Narayan this time. He's fall for 16. It's 47 for 4, Peter De La Pena.
it was all part of the plan, Lenny. They misfielded on purpose. That's what it was about. They wanted to get the preferred guy on strike to, you know, get the opportunity to keep on attacking, and look what happens. Leads to a wicket. Just darts it in flat. Full, playing across the line. Oh, look at that. Derek Narayan knows. He's given himself out LBW, Lenny. Didn't even wait for the finger to go up. Played across the line, and he started walking for an LBW decision.
So Gajanan Singh has picked up 3. He has picked up the wickets of Ryan Scott, Goranshu Sharma, and now Derek Narayan. So he's really removed the entire middle order. In fact, including Ryan Scott, who's top of the order. And Raj Nanan comes out to the middle. So you get the feeling, Peter, that the Cavaliers will fight back here for their 119 that they posted. 73 to win from 70 balls, but we're into the middle order now. Raj Nanan and the captain Jonathan Fu, and you made mention how good Gajanan Singh has been during the course of this summer. And he came into this game with quite a few wickets under his belt, and he has added to that tally by 3 runs. Raj Nanan is the new man in.
Yeah, Gajanan Singh has been mighty impressive. Can we get the wicket replay one more time? Taken 3 wickets now. He's got 3 wickets in 14 balls. And I was a bit confused here watching the delivery live, because he started to walk off, Derek Narayan, and I thought, I don't see the bails lighting up. I didn't see the stumps lit. Was he on bold? Why is he walking off? No, he gave himself out long before the finger went up.
Siraj Nanan, the left-hander, against Gajanan Singh, the off-spinner. And another quality delivery here from Gajanan Singh. He's bowling some really good balls here. 3 for 13 so far. And he's made up for the deficiency in them only posting 119. He's coming with a very good spell. Nana looking for a couple of runs. No, he will settle for 1 and allows Jonathan Fu, the captain, who has really brought the Philadelphians into playoff mode this year. We saw in the other 2 years, Peter, they finished at number 3 and number 3. Number 3 in 2021, number 3 in 2022. But this year, because of the tournament setup, a chance for 3 teams to come through. But the fact is, they didn't need to be in 3rd position this year. They topped the group. And like anything else, Jonathan Fu has to be credited with the way he has led this Philadelphian team into the onside, and he picks up an easy single. Run a ball game.
Run a ball game, but they've made it very interesting. They've made life tougher than themselves than they really needed to. Ryan Scott tried to maintain his natural aggressive streak, but maybe backfired potentially, going as hard as he was, getting out to Gajanan Singh.
So
sharp catch.
So Gajanan Singh 3 for 15 so far. Very tidy stuff. This one punched along the ground. They'll come back for a couple of runs. Yasser Mohammed Young, fresh legs always will get across quickly. Couple of runs to end the over. And after 9 is 51 for 4.
What's up, Doug? What got into you?
At Sunoco, we know how to fuel peak performance. Fuel your best.
Is it possible for us to get the replay that wicket before this over starts or no?
The yes. So Sonny Patel. So Sonny Patel comes into the attack. Quality leg spinner, Peter.
And here's the wicket. Now I'm looking at this saying, why is he walking off? I didn't see the bails light up. Why is he walking off? He's giving himself out before the finger goes up. He's giving himself at LBW. Lenny, you don't see that every day.
So Sonny Patel has made a good start. He's a quality leg spinner. He's bowled well for Cavaliers this year. Oh, straight back into the hands of Sonny Patel. And Jonathan Fu gets a bit of a leading edge. And another wicket falls. 51 for 5.
Gosh, this has been an awfully strange chase. Lenny, some kind of bizarre shots, strange dismissals. Chalk this one up. Add this to the list. Low full toss. He's just trying to flick this into mid-wicket, and he's looking at the toe of his bat, wondering, why did you let me down? Easy catch.
So Sonny Patel into the attack, second ball. He's really bowled well for this Somerset Cavaliers lineup. And there's almost, there's so much tricks and mystery to right arm wrist spinner, Peter. So much torque, so much bounce, so much rotation on the ball. Shiranshu Bhatia comes to the middle. And they need 69 to win from 54. We were talking not too long ago, almost run a ball, but we're beginning to see a bit of a gap between runs required and balls remaining.
Ian Plunkett now in the middle. Historically had a pretty decent career batting-wise for England. He's always been recognized as a bowler, but he could come in at 8 or 9 and hit some runs. And he's going to need to here, as this chase is starting to get out of control here in terms of the wickets column. The run rate is still manageable. They only need 69 off of 61 balls. So that's quite manageable. It's the wickets column that's a worry. And again, showing here, Plunkett is being patient. We've seen some guys get very antsy at the crease, trying to play more shots than maybe they need to when the balls aren't there to hit. Plunkett saying, no, I'm going to see off this over, even if it ends up as a maiden. I'll just wait to pick on a bowler. I'll target the weak link elsewhere. 51 for 5 after 10.
आ गया है लक्ष्मी बासमती राइस को घर लाने का। लक्ष्मी एक्स्ट्रा लॉन्ग बासमती राइस। इसका हर दाना हो इतना लंबा, पकते हुए महके और प्लेट पे क्या खूब खिले। हाँ, मेरे घर लाने का।
So Singh will continue. 3 overs, 3 for 17. And ball into the offside. Plunkett will come back into strike. And Raj Nanan is considered an all-rounder. So the others to come, Shiro Bhatia, Suripol Islam, Deveshwari Prasad. He's had a very good day so far, Prasad. He's a man that can play some useful innings, but we're looking at Plunkett and Raj Nanan for the time being. And the bowlers have really showed up. We've seen the bowling led by Gajanan Singh, 3 for 13 so far. In fact, 3 for 18. And ball turned into the onside. And Peter, what I've noticed in recent times in T20 cricket, we have always want to think that run a ball is a simple task. But I sometimes want to think that the new complication is to say run a ball and then you make a mess out of a chase that's seemingly just about run a ball. We're beginning to see a little bit of that. We've seen a couple of wickets fall. We saw Derek Narain misjudging perhaps a line and a bounce of a delivery, and we saw not too long ago Dada Jonathan Fu trying to play with soft hands, trying to probably go into the onside ball, taking a little bit of a leading edge. And I wonder if the batsman has gotten themselves into a shell and that tentativeness has crept in.
Yeah. We saw Ryan Scott take one approach, going very, very hard. And then that didn't work. And now we're seeing potentially things going too far in the opposite direction, where guys are maybe going too far into their shell, not looking to hit boundaries, and pressure starting to build ever so slightly.
So they need 66 from 55 balls. And this has been another quality over here from Gajanan Singh, but he has one more ball and he'll be done for the day. 3 for 20 so far. And look at that, because of the fact that they have lost a couple of wickets in the last 3 or 4 overs, Gajanan Singh has license to really flight the ball, to allow the ball to spin. And so 11 overs gone is 55 for 5.
It's a really good start.
Took that last corner pretty quick.
Sir, I need one hand on the roof, one hand on the pump.
Timeout for Sunoco Go rewards.
Keep pumping.
With new Sunoco Go rewards, when you fuel, you save because rewards come first.
So they need 65 from 54 balls. And once again, we are beginning to see another game in which the teams from the Atlantic Conference, the Eastern Division, having to fight so hard for a 120-130 as Sunny Patel continues. A drag down, but not much harm done as Plunkett picks up another run. So 64 to win from 53. Raj Nanan, he's scored 5 so far. And Sunny Patel, he's a quality spinner. He's picked up the wicket caught on ball of Jonathan Fu in the previous over, and he comes in here to Raj Nanan. Nanan into the offside. They're gonna go through for 1. So 5, 6, 7 runs on over, Peter does it. Easier said than done, maybe.
Well, when you're 5 wickets down, it sure is. It's the bigger number to look at. Somerset Cavaliers trying to push for an unlikely win from where they were maybe about an hour ago.
And the Somerset Cavaliers, they know that in 2023, this has really been a better year for them. First time they've gone past the league stage. And I don't know if you recall, Peter, in 2022, they lost their first 5 games in a row, the Cavaliers, and bounced back, winning about 4 in a row last year in 2022. So this year, once they got past the fact that they weren't losing games at at the top of the season, they felt, well, there we go, we'll have a better season, and so far it has led them to Texas.
Yeah, it's all about finding that consistency. They've managed to get that magic formula right for this year, finally.
So we've seen a very good over here from Sonny Patel. So he brings out a shot through the onside. That's a good looking shot from Raj Nanan. He picks up a boundary at the end of the 12th over. So 12 gone. It's 62 for 5.
वक्त आ गया है लक्ष्मी बासमती राइस को घर लाने का। लक्ष्मी एक्स्ट्रा लॉन्ग बासमती राइस। इसका हर दाना हो इतना लंबा, पकते हुए महके और प्लेट पे क्या खूब खिले। हाँ, मेरे घर लाने का।
I'm gripped by the mania.
Didn't contemplate making a detour to Kansas City to try and camp out in the parking lot after the game to get a photo.
How about that journalist that was there in the hallway?
So Abir Chippa comes into the attack, 58 to win.
He's a former player. He's a former running back.
And ball stroked into the onside. Easy single here for Liam Plunkett. And the equation comes down to 57 to win from 47 balls. Abir Chippa, sixth bowler to be used today. He has come in place of Saad bin Zafar and sort of like a like for like replacement. Left arm spinner. Yeah, Gajanan Singh allowing one to go through.
See, he was giving dirty looks to Ghazi before when I said he was at fault for not backing up that throw properly. And there it is again. That's a simple collection. Got to do better than that, especially when you're only defending 119. And every run matters.
So a couple of runs in this over. Plunkett comes in to strike. Oh, he comes down the track, lofted this into the onside. Lewis does well to keep the ball in play, only a single.
That's great. That's fantastic. Kenara Lewis, loving it. Saves 3 runs there. This one was going right for the boundary. Beautiful use of the feet. But this is even better coming up from Kenara Lewis, running across. Great work by Richard, the cameraman. Got it long on. Tracking number 100 there.
So he gets an edge, running up towards the third area. And Najaf Shah, is it? Allows the ball to go through. Ball too fast for him. So 4 runs off the bat of Raj Nanan. Set 69 for 5.
69. Yep. 2 balls to go.
So this one was gone for 7 so far from Abir Chippa. And so they need 51 from 44. Ball cut into the offside and easy single. So Peter, maybe a better over here for the Philadelphians. They've picked up 8 runs in this over.
Yeah, now they're starting to turn it around. Momentum starting to shift back there. We're 7 runs in the last over 8 here with 1 ball to go. Again, it's through nothing fancy. Plunkett saw off that maiden from Patel. Said, no, I'll bide my time. I'll wait to pick on the weak link elsewhere. And now they're starting to find that weak link. 9 runs in that over. 71 for 5 after 13.
So 49 to win from 42. Plunkett on strike. Sonny Patel, 2 overs, 1 win, 1 for 7. He has returned good figure so far. He's picked up the wicket of the captain, Jonathan Fu. Quality spinner is Sonny Patel. The ball worked into the onside, so the plan from Liam Plunkett and Raj Nanan is to tap it around Peter. Lots of open spaces now, and why not? 6-7 runs and over, that's all that is needed. 48 to win from 40 balls.
I just get the feeling that these two have settled in. 6 overs in a row of spin. They're starting to look very comfortable out there. I just wondered, I know they want to hold back some of the medium pace to bowl to death, but it might be worth just disrupting the rhythm they're in right now to bring back an over medium pace here instead of just allowing them to coast against the spinners that have been operating. Gajanan Singh's bowled out, but Patel now in his 3rd over. Chip has bowled 1. This is just looking a bit too comfortable for the Philadelphians right now.
So still a very tidy over here from Sonny Patel. 4 balls into the over. He's only conceded 1. So that 6 and 7 we are talking about has not happened in this over. Into the onside. Easy single here for Raj Nanan. But with 1 ball remaining, Peter, there's only 2 runs in this over. So they're short by 4 or 5. You still need that little bit of odd boundaries from here and there. Liam Plunkett, he's on 8. And they need 47 from 37 balls. Sonny Patel has bowled 2.5. 1 maiden, 1 for 9. Very economical spell so far. Could be looking for 2. In fact, they're settled for 1. As the fielder comes around, so that will complete the 14th over. So 14 gone, 74 for 5. They need 46 from 36.
What's up, Doug? What got into you?
At Sunoco, we know how to fuel peak performance. Fuel your best.
So 46 needed from 36 balls. Najaf Shah, the captain, comes back into the attack. We saw 2 overs at the top of the order with the new ball. None for 13. And he comes back here with 46 to win from 36. So here is Najaf Shah, Plunkett on 9. And Raj Nanan on 17. They need 46 to win. The ball cut away into the offside in the region of Adil Bhatti. And so the 15th has begun here, Peter. 45 to win.
Yeah, Najib Shah comes back. He's got 2 overs left. He's somebody who loves mixing in all those variations. He's been so effective in the T20 circuit in the U.S. over the last many years. And it's this area of the match where he's really done a lot of damage, mixing in all these cutters and slower balls at the death.
So Raj Nanan has played a good hand with with Plunkett. They've posted a 24-run partnership so far. Into the onside, and so the plan is clear from Plunkett and Raj Nanan for now is to really try to pick up singles. It's been a while we haven't seen a boundary.
No boundary since the 12th. Checked that the 13th actually, and that was edged to third man. That was off an edge past the keeper.
So a couple of good balls in this over. And you get the feeling that Najaf Shaw and the other bowlers will be happy that the batsman has gone into the frame of mind, just looking to tap the ball around. So change to the field. Fine leg comes a bit wider. Plunkett in the deep, goes over the head of Kennard Lewis. And we were talking about how long we haven't seen one. Well, that's a boundary off the bat of Liam Plunkett.
Calculated risk there. Mid-on was up in the ring. They made a lot of field changes before that ball. He decided mid-on is where I can target a potential boundary because Kennard Lewis was brought into the ring. He took the gamble, and it just paid off. So close. Close only counts in horseshoes and hand grenades, Lenny.
So good comeback delivery here from Najaf Shaw. This over's gone for 6. And so they need 40 runs from 32 balls. Very important strike from Liam Plunkett, and how much those boundaries really help when you're chasing 40 from 32 balls.
Now Lewis is being pushed back to the boundary at long on, so he's going from mid on to long on, and they've brought deep final leg into the ring for this delivery, so that's the change in the field for right now.
Oh, he gets gotten a good slice on this one, but Adil Bhatti still got some spring in those legs. 81 for 5, 39 to win.
Adil Bhatti, the ageless wonder. Feels like he's been around forever. You look at him, he still looks quite fresh-faced for somebody who's touching 40.
Siraj Nanan comes in to strike 7 off this over. Can they close it off with a couple more at least? Or even a boundary would be better. Oh, stroked it straight into the region of Gajanan Singh. And so the 15 over comes to a close. It's 81 for 5. They need 39 from 30 balls.
वक्त आ गया है लक्ष्मी बासमती राइस को घर लाने का। लक्ष्मी एक्स्ट्रा लॉन्ग बासमती राइस। इसका हर दाना हो इतना लंबा, पकते हुए महके और प्लेट पे क्या खूब खिले। हाँ, मेरे घर लाने का।
So the bowling so far, Najaf Shaw none for 20 off 3. Adil Bhatti 1 for 6 off 2. Gajanan Singh 3 for 21 off 4. Abdullah Ghazi none for 12 off 2. Sonny Patel 1 for 10 off 3. And Abir Chipper with 1 over, he gave away 9. Here is Sonny Patel. And ball worked into the onside. Batsman settling for only a single, ambling across. And Peter, we come down to the last 29 balls, 38 to get.
Got to credit the Cavaliers for stretching this out as long as they could. 3 wickets from Gajanan Singh, leading wicket taker on the season for the Cavs. He's now got 18 in 12 matches and got to bowl on some pretty bowler-friendly wickets at Mercer. It contributed plenty to his wicket tally, but still, you got to bowl it in the right areas. You can't just snap your fingers and get wickets. Got to credit him somewhat. I just saw a strike of lightning in the distance, Lenny. We had biblical thunderstorms here last night in the Prairie View area. It was an extraordinary downpour. And out in the distance, it's been very overcast. The conditions have changed dramatically. In the morning game, it was bright and sunny throughout, and kind of right around the innings break and throughout this chase, it's gotten very overcast all of a sudden, and I just saw a lightning strike out in the distance. I don't think the rain is going to reach us before the end of play, but it went from being very hot and steamy to all of a sudden it cooled down a bit. The sun's gone away, and rain is threatening potentially overnight here again. So just the conditions have changed quite a bit as this match has gone on.
So it comes down to 36 to win from 26. We've seen another very good over here from Sonny Patel. And here he is, Siraj Nanan. Only 3 runs in this over. And make that 4 as Abir Chipper comes around. And so final ball in this over, Peter, is only been 4 runs. And the requirements of 35 from 25 balls is beginning to get to a situation in which they'll probably need boundaries now. 1 every over here and there. But here is Sonny Patel to plunk it.
And just had a fielder moving at the moment he was about to deliver, so Owen Brown called dead ball when everybody's set.
And Sonny Patel will finish off here. 3.5 so far, 1 for 13. So he's done along with Gajanan Singh. They get a single of the final ball. And so the last 4 overs, they'll need 34 to win this game. It's 86 for 5. So the ball has been thrown to Abdullah Ghazi. Not a seam bowler. We saw Ghazi 2 overs, no made, none for 12. So he comes in here with 24 balls remaining, 34 to get. And a partnership that has gone up to 35. But Peter, you get the feeling that they will have to probably up the approach to try and get a little bit more than what they're doing at present.
I just wonder, is it because they're just holding back to target what they think is the weak link? If they're thinking they can target Ghazi here, or thinking they can target Adil Bhatti, who's got some overs left, just trying to stretch it out where they think the weak link is that they can target for an explosive over. That to me looks like what they're trying to do here at the crease, these two, Plunkett and Nanan.
Nanan has struck a couple of 4s, Plunkett 1-4. We haven't seen a 6 for a long time. Playing a miss outside the off stump, wide, so that will help. Not only that ball will have to be rebowled, but it adds 1 to the tally, so 33 to win from 24. And Plunkett and Nanan has put on a 36-run partnership. Still batting to come, Shiru Bhatia, we know he can strike the ball. Deveshwari Prasad, Saripol Islam. Good bowling here from Ghazi. Not allowing Plunkett to get away at all. So he's bowled a couple of balls in this over. He's only conceded 1. We've seen another dot ball here from the Cavaliers. So Abdullah Ghazi, 87 for 5, and into the hands of Gajanan Singh. Easy catch. And Liam Plunkett falls for 18. It's 87 for 6.
ball. This was here to whack. Just sat up. This was the ball he was waiting for, and he got plenty of muscle behind it, but just not enough elevation. It was right towards our commentary tent. Tip of the cap to Gajanan Singh, because he saved us from breaking some laptop equipment and some production equipment. If he didn't hold on to that, we were in the firing line here, Lenny.
Yeah, and the kind of form that you have been in today.
Yeah, not good.
Not good.
Not good.
Thank you, Gajo. So another wicket goes down. Shirubati comes to the middle, the left-hander. And Abdullah Ghazi bowling at 1 for 13. 33 to win from 22 balls. And that required rate now, Peter, has touched 9. So they need 9 and over.
Now you can start to see why Ryan Scott took the approach that he did, because he just didn't want to let the match drag out. Wanted to kill off the game as early as possible in the power play. Didn't really do that as much as they would have wanted to. They ended the power play 38 for 1. He was trying to attack every single ball, score as many as they could in the power play before the spinners came into play, and that inability to try and kill the game off early might wind up coming back to bite the Philadelphians quite heavily here, because this is looking like a mighty struggle.
So ball guided away towards Adil Bhatti. So quickly, Shirubati gets off the mark. Rajananan has been there for some time. He's up on 19 and 32 to win from 21 balls. We made mention of these short phases tournament. You've got to play a game every day from now until Friday, and early wins are so important. Oh, that's a lovely drive from Rajananan. We'll only get a single. Kinar Lewis comes into play. And Abdullah Ghazi, 3 in this over. He's picked up 1. This has been a very good over for the Somerset Cavaliers in form of Abdullah Ghazi. And Abdullah Ghazi might have come in for Junaid Nadir, who's not playing today. Haven't seen him with the squad, so probably he hasn't made the trip. So quality delivery here from Abdullah Ghazi. So look, 3 runs in this over. Final ball coming up, Peter. You still need almost 10 runs and over. You need a 6 on this ball?
Maybe not this ball, but you got to get a few of them in the final 3 overs.
So ball guided away into the third area, and what we have seen, the Cavaliers have really come up with good field placement. All the shots that we have seen so far have gone to fielders. So 17 gone, 90 for 6, 30 to win from 18 balls. So we come down to the last 3 overs. 30 to win, and it looks like Yasser Mohammed gets a ball.
No.
Oh, no.
It's the googly again. Come on. You knew that was happening, Lenny. He was just teasing you. This is Adil Bhatti with his green highlights. Back into the attack. Adil Bhatti, they were holding some overs back for him. He bowled 2 with the new ball, and he's somebody who bowls a lot of variation to the death as well. Now, you talked about, do they want to try and get a 6 off the last ball of the previous over? This is the end batting from where most of the 6s have been hit today. The wind has died down significantly. Earlier, it was blowing quite strongly. With the overcast conditions, the wind has kind of gone away completely. It's rare that you don't have wind blowing through here at Prairie View. But through most of the day, this is the end where the 6s have been hit straight down the ground. So I wonder if they just held back and they decided we're going to target the 18th and the 20th over to try and rally back for victory here for the Philadelphians.
Yeah, they're faced with no choice. They're forced to do whatever needs to be done to get 30 in 3 overs, 10 and over. No elevation, looking for a couple of runs. They cross and they come back. Good running here from Bhatia and Raj Nanan. So good shot, good production on that ball. And they pick up 2, 28 to win from 17 balls. So Raj Nanan still out in the middle there. He's played a good hand. He's batted for 20 so far from 19 balls. Shiro Bhatia has come in at a time in which when he landed in the middle, the asking rate was 10 and over. So have to get going very quickly. Well stopped there from Stephen Ketwaru. Good to have a good top-class keeper behind the sticks always, Peter.
Well, here's that somewhat variable bounce. We saw it in the first game. It hasn't really happened at all in the second game. It's been consistent bounce all the way through, and now right at the end here. Right when the Philadelphians are trying to make a final charge, it's the last thing you want to see batting.
Play and a miss. A couple of good balls to follow up after the first shot that went for 2 from Adil Bhatti. So he's bringing some life into this bowling attack.
Again, he's somebody who doesn't bowl quick. He's never been somebody who bowls quick. He's not going to blow you away with his pace, but at the death throughout his career, he's been somebody who has worked a lot at experimenting, trying to build up his confidence with these kind of deliveries for this kind of situation, and he's more often than not successful.
Good shot from Shiro Bhatia running up towards the backward point boundary, and it crosses the rope. And that's a good strike from Shiro Bhatia. 4 runs.
Well, I think he was going for the wide Yorker here. And it wasn't a bad spot. If that is left alone, it's a wide. So that's quite a ways outside off stump, but as good a ball as that was in terms of the width outside the crease, Bhatia just played it even better. You got to give full credit to the batter to be able to slice that ball away. Good bowling, even better batting.
So 24 to win from 12 balls. In fact, from 13 balls. Final ball coming up here. And we've seen an over with that boundary has only conceded 6. This has been a very good one again from Adil Bhatti. So the big question is how much or how many do you leave for the last 2 overs? 24 to win, 13 balls. Here is Adil Bhatti outside the off stump. And that will complete the 18th over. So 18 gone. It's 96 for 6. They need 24 in 2 overs.
Well, here's the issue now, Lenny. They've been trying to be patient to find where that weak link is. And that weak link really hasn't come. And now you've got a prospect of taking on Najaf Shah. And Adil Bhatti in the last 2 overs. Najaf Shah, I can't envision him conceding more than 8 here. So potentially they're going to need 16 off the last over, and I don't care who's bowling. In this kind of scenario at this level, that's very, very difficult to pull off.
Big strike from Raj Nanan, and that has gone a long way into the parking lot. Big strike from Raj Nanan.
Rare error at this stage of the game by Najib Shah. Just in the slot. He was going for Yorker. Didn't get it full enough. And it disappears over the Sunoco and Dafanu signage.
So the 100 comes up in the 19th over. Big strike from Raj Nanan.
It's the first 6 of the match, or first 6 of the innings, for sure.
So 18 to win from 11 balls. Najaf Shah will sprint in and comes into bowl to Raj Nanan. He's up on 26. It's 102 on the board. 18 needed. And ball driven straight down the ground. Kinar Lewis charges the ball. They come back for 2. The return comes in. Not a good one. And 2 good-looking runs here for the Philadelphians.
Just the recognition there is poor from Lewis. He was going to be run out by miles. They were coming back for 2 all the way because they want Nanan to take the strike. So Bhatti was prepared to sacrifice himself there. No matter what, Nanan had to be on strike. So they had a fairly straightforward run out to complete. And Lewis, instead of just bouncing it shorter to give Najaf Shah a good angle of collection, he skidded it very low, almost at his knees. And the collection just became very, very difficult to take, and it allowed him to complete the second run.
So 16 runs to win. And Peter, we've seen that the high value of that 6 off the first ball. All of a sudden, Philadelphians does have a very good chance in this game with 15 to win.
Yeah, I said 8 in the over would be good. They got 8 off 2 balls. Now everything else from here is a bonus. So suddenly the pendulum swinging back towards the Philadelphians. That first ball 6 so crucial. Arguably, the Philadelphians have already won the over. Even if they get 3 singles from here.
Sabatia comes into strike. He's really come out and have had to do some heavy lifting from ball 1. Oh, that's a good shot. Looking for 2. They should get 2 here. Yasser Mohammed, no matter how fast he is, and they come back for a couple of runs.
Tremendous awareness. Nobody fielding in front of square on the leg side in the ring. It's just a matter of placing it and putting the proper amount of touch on the ball. Fielding alignment right now. They've got deep backward square leg, deep mid wicket, long on, long off, cover sweeper on the boundary, and then in the ring it's short fine leg, backward point, cover, and extra cover. So there's nobody in front of square on the leg side in the 30-yard circle. All he needs to do is tap that, the perfect amount of touch, and it's an automatic 2. Very well done by Bhatia.
So 11 off this over so far with a couple of balls. Shaw runs into ball to Shiranshu Bhatia. Pad. Doesn't matter. They're going to run through. Leg by could be the call. In fact, he would have gotten a nick onto that. So Aditya Gajar says the ball came off. Now the leg by comes through.
That time it wasn't a pre-signal. It was a slow signal. It was a delayed signal.
Post
there.
signal.
Yeah,
There's
post signal.
pre and post. So 12 runs to win from 7 balls. And this match has come down to 12 to win from 7 balls, chasing 119. The Philadelphians are locked in with a battle here with the New Jersey Somerset Cavaliers. And the captain, Najaf Shah, with 12 in the over, starts to make that move. Runs into ball to Raj Nanan. Nanan gets the full one. It's up in the air. Kinar Lewis! When he opens that hand, it's a bucket that is open. And that's the end of Raj Nanan. Another wicket falls. 12 runs still needed. And we've got 1 more over to come.
And there it is, Kinar Lewis. He's had a couple of close shaves. Some balls that just eluded him at times, but this one was never going to outlast him. Takes it 5 yards in from the rope, and it means 12 required off the final over. Lenny, where's your money?
Well, 11 can push it into a tie game. Not too sure what the playing conditions are at this juncture of the tournament in terms of whether or not we'll go to a super over, or we saw a super over last week at Glenville.
Well, it's got to be a super over. Super over. It's been the super over all the way through the tournament, so there's no reason why they would change that now. It's definitely going to be a super over here.
So Prashad has come to the middle. Shiro Bhatia will be on strike. Abdullah Ghazi, it looks like will bowl the final over. And they've got 12 to win from 6 balls. 11 will level the scores. And this game comes down to the last over of this game. So it's taking some time to separate these teams. Not a big chase, 119, but it has proved otherwise.
I'm a bit surprised here. I would stick with Bhatti. They're giving the ball to Ghazi. Bhatti bowled 4 dot balls in the 18th over. Just had one mistake on that wide Yorker he tried to bowl that went for 4. I would have stuck with Bhatti for the 20th over. Instead of giving it back to Ghazi, we'll see what happens.
So Abdullah Ghazi from the road end runs into bowl to Shiranshu Bhatia. Oh, that's a good slice. It goes into the direction of Yasir Muhammad. He comes up with the catch. And Bhatia is gone. It's 108 for 8. 12 needed in 5 balls.
It's not often you see a deep point again be catching position. We've seen some interesting catches taken today. Saw one a deep cover earlier, now a deep point, deep backward point. That's not a catching position. That's a saving 1, saving 2 position. And Yasir Muhammad takes the catch just in case, for whatever reason, he thought there might be no ball. He flings it back in immediately. But that was straightforward by Yasir Muhammad's standards in terms of his catching ability. So Bhatia goes. Now 8 wickets down. Getting awfully tense here.
So Abdul Jabbar strides to the middle. And it's always so tough. He has no time. He will have no time to settle at all. So 12 needed in 5 balls. 12 needed in 5 balls. So AJ comes to the middle. Abdullah Ghazi has started well, Peter.
Yeah. Cover sweeper, long off, long on, deep mid wicket, and a third man. Very interesting position, having the 5th boundary rider at deep third. Inside the ring, they've got backward square leg, short fine leg, backward point, and extra cover.
So playing a miss here by AJ. And the ball goes through to Stephen Ketwaru. So it becomes tougher here for the Philadelphians.
Well, and the other interesting thing is to keep in mind, we still have to await the official ruling from the management committee here, because the point of contention was whether or not Chandrapal Hemraj should be allowed to play today, depending on his classification. And I know that was a major discussion point between the officials before the start of play. Hemraj was put on the field, and I wonder what may yet be in store, Lenny, regardless of the result on the field. Will it be upheld?
So we've seen a couple of dot balls followed up by the wicket of Shiranshu Bhatia from Abdullah Ghazi. AJ hasn't made any connection at all, and they still need 12 in 3 balls. Into the onside, do you run 2? In fact, they'll settle for 1, so the strike goes over to Deveshwari Prasad, who will face his first ball.
And just to follow up that point, Chandrapal Hemraj, 31 off 22 balls today in a low-scoring match. That's quite a significant score. So what the tournament officials decide to rule on in terms of Somerset Cavaliers' use of Hemraj and whether he was eligible or ineligible, and if he's ineligible, could potentially have the result overturned as a forfeit. Not quite sure what the final judgment is going to be, but it could still be some drama yet in store here, Lenny.
So a short ball with a lot of pace flies past the helmet of Devashwari Prashad into the safe glove of Stephen Ketwaru. So 11 needed off this ball, Peter.
Yeah, the Cavaliers are celebrating on the field right now. Within the course of play, they're going to win here, but like I said, stay tuned.
So Abdullah Ghazi has really brought out some bit of pace on that ball. And here is the final ball with 11 to win. Prashad on strike. And Abdullah Ghazi runs into Prashad. Full ball all along the ground, and Cavaliers celebrate. So they've won this game, and they've won by some 9 runs. So New Jersey Somerset Cavaliers has gotten the best over the Philadelphians, and they win by 9 runs.
Yeah, for now, the result holds. For now, it's a 9-run victory, but again, there might be some discussions between the management staffs of each team and the tournament officials with regards to whether or not this result is going to be upheld or overturned, because every indication we received before the start of play was that Chandrapal Hemraj was not going to be classified as a domestic player. You can only have one overseas player, and he was reclassified. Once he went off to the CPL, our understanding was he was reclassified as an overseas, and Kenara Lewis is an overseas. You're only allowed to have one in the 11. Technically speaking, they played 2, and it remains up in the air whether or not this result will actually be upheld or whether it's going to be overturned, and potentially a forfeit could happen. So we'll wait to get the official word on that. And that might not come immediately. That might be something that gets decided later tonight, but we'll know for sure by the time play begins tomorrow. At the moment, though, Philadelphians could have made life easy. They could have taken all that discussion off the table if they had just been able to chase 120. Instead, they fall 9 runs short. And on with 29 off 23, top scoring. A lot of starts in that innings, but nobody really making a major contribution. 4 guys getting past 10, not able to get to 20. And obviously Nanan, top scorer, 29. Gajanan Singh, 3 wickets. He's been the leading wicket taker for the Somerset Cavaliers throughout this tournament, and he extends his team lead with 3 more today to lead the bowling attack with his off-spin. Ghazi with 2, including that tremendous final over at the death. And then 1 apiece for Nader Shah, Delbati, and Sunny Patel. So a 9-run victory for the Cavaliers for now. Gajanan Singh, 60 off 55, and then again a big contribution, pivotal contribution by Hemraj with his 31. We got 4 more games tomorrow. So this is just the first of 3 days here in the preliminary playoff stage before the top 2 teams advance to the tournament final in Grand Prairie, Texas, down near Dallas on Sunday. But this is just the start of the playoff action here in Prairie View, Texas, outside of Houston, at the Prairie View Cricket Complex. Hope you enjoyed today's coverage. I'm Peter Della Penna with Lenny Chaibart. We'll be back tomorrow for more action in the Sunoco 2023 Minor League Cricket T20 Championship. Take care for now.
Rajdeep Darbar. And Darbar gets a good ball into the offside, and things are on the way here for the Philadelphians. So they're 1 for no loss. So Ryan Scott gets bat onto this one through the backward square area. Play and a miss. Oh, in fact, he gets an edge. And into the offside. Ease in the world. Through the offside. He stands. And he waits, and he knows. So ball cut into the offside. He squeezed through the gap. Narain on strike. Into the offside. Stroked it away beautifully. No man move. Oh, has he taken the catch? Gajanan Singh.
Mixing up his pace at times. He's darted in a few 4-1s. But again, that flight is paying off.
Out for Cavaliers this year. Oh, straight back into the hands of Sun. So he brings out a shot through the onside. That's a good looking shot from. So he gets an edge running up towards the third area. And Najaf Shah, is it? Plunkett in the deep, goes over the head of Kinar. 87 for 5 and into the hands of Gajanan Singh. Easy catch. And Liam Plunkett falls for 18. It's 87 for 6.
More often than not successful.
Good shot from Shiro Bhatia running up towards the backward point boundary, and it crosses the rope. And that's a big strike from Raj Nanan, and that has gone a long way into the parking lot. Nanan gets the full one. It's up in the air. Kinar Lewis. Red Shubatia. Oh, that's a good slice. It goes into the direction of Yasser Mohammed. He comes up with the.
You're watching the Sunoco Minor League Cricket Championship, brought to you by our 2023 partners.